Hi, everyone.
Hey,
I'm Alicia,
and I'm Meredith.
and this is It's About the Pasta, a Vanderpump Rules podcast. We've made it in an
Wow.
epic season 10 reunion. This is part 3. The whole season was a chef's kiss. I don't think I hated one episode.
No,
This reminds me of season 2 Vanderpump, which is my favorite.
it really served up everything I needed.
Served, if you will,
Served,
S-U-R.
served up everything I needed.
It was so good.
And I just needed this for my own life.
Yeah, this was fantastic. But okay, before we get into it, I'm going to speed through this because we got a lot to cover. Check us out on the
yeah.
A&M Podcast Network. We have this podcast. We have Summer's Fun, a Summer House podcast, and we have One Season Wonders. Please be sure to rate, review, subscribe. Meredith, we have two. Well, we have one new one and one edited one.
Oh, and
Okay.
we have one that a Canadian listener DM'd
I
us.
think I got the Canadian
okay.
one.
I never know. I
It
don't
says
know how
Canada, so I'm gonna assume this is the Canadian one.
Okay, cool.
Okay, but the edit was someone they did send us 5 stars the first time they left a review. It's Jojo Newfie.
Yeah.
And Jojo originally was like 5 stars, but lighten up on Lala.
Yeah.
And I said, I love Lala so much.
Yes.
And so Jojo wrote us back and said, I knew you loved her when you saw the real her. I fucking love her. She won this reunion. She's a queen. I have nothing.
That's true. We have released old seasons where I'm sure we're harsh on her.
Yeah, even this season I might have been a little harsh, but at my core, I love her. I think we all need to separate the TV moments from like who they are as actual people.
True.
And like as an actual person, I think Lala's so amazing.
I am pressed by her as a human being.
Yeah, she's amazing. Okay, so our new one is Allison BZ. And it's titled Number One Pod in the Group.
Yes, she DM'd me this one.
This is from Canada.
Yes.
Great. So Allison says, OG VPR fan and shameless Sheena stan.
We love.
With exactly 0 friends to watch the show. Found this podcast to get me through the agonizing 7 days between reunion episodes with no one to share my unhinged emotions with, and was not disappointed. Literally binge season 10 all weekend and can't wait to go back and start from the beginning. You two girlies have me cackling. I'm not going to say the D word and the S word, but the negative reviews don't know what's up. Good as gold. 10 stars.
We love. Thank you,
Allison. Go back and listen to our recaps. I think we have seasons 1 through 4 live.
1 through 4 live. Yeah.
1 through 4 live. We're gonna do 5 through wherever we started. 7. No,
that's okay. I got this.
But
also thank you for going the extra mile to DM us the review, because
yes,
I don't know how we received. I don't know the science behind
it. I think the US is slow on bringing things in
from international.
Period. So Canada.
So period. And we don't get anything from Spotify or like other ones. They only come through Apple, I think. But we appreciate you rating us everywhere.
Also, if you DM us, we will read the
hell yeah
on the podcast, no matter where you're from or what podcast platform you use. Anyway, no one cares. Let's go into the thing.
Yeah, let's get to like the real.
On Instagram at Vanderpasta. I posted the Summer House tweets. I'm gonna post the Vanderpump Rules tweets when this episode's released. So if you're listening to it live, it's coming Sunday. And then follow us on or join our Patreon, patreon.com/Vanderpasta. Let me tell you what you can get. For $1 a month, you get access to all of our fun pre-shows where Meredith and I talk about whatever we want because that's what we can do. And also you will get access to any episodes we record early, including this one. For $2 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when we go back and we watch old seasons, we do an after show so we can talk about current Bravo news. And so that'll be available for $2 a month. And also we'll say your name on the podcast. So thank you to Brittany, Chris, Danae, Darby, Dee, Dustin, Gabriella, Jackie, Jamie, Casey, Katie, Kelsey, Chrissy, Lady Swamp Witch, Laura, Lauren, Sarah, Cameron, Tierney, Tonette, Tracy, Amy, Emily, Gina, Jennifer H, Jennifer T, Kirsten, Sarah, Taylor, and Tiffany. That was 5.
Wow.
That was at my average of doing that, but I did it.
You know what? It's been a long ride. We've got so many people on it with us.
I'm gonna miss you guys so much. Not because you leave, but because we're gonna take a mini hiatus. And
yes. I think everyone deserves a mini hiatus.
Honestly, forget about us for a little bit. And then for $5 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, for live seasons, I'll post. You can give us your thoughts. We'll read them on the podcast.
I'm gonna miss this part.
I have to really apologize. I was very late this week posting.
I actually almost texted you.
This was fully on me. I am safe. I live in New York. The Canadian wildfires, the smoke took over. So Allison, I hope you're very safe.
Allison, we don't hate you from Canada.
No. Allison, I hope you're really safe. If anything, this is a shout to our world that climate change is real. Anyway, we could get into it. But my schedule was just off. And so I was working from home and I was like worried. I was trapped in my apartment and I really wasn't thinking, honestly. And then when I left my house on Friday, I was like, oh shit, because someone messaged us. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So I did it. Everyone was very nice. I am safe. Thank you for your well wishes. No worries. That was just me being stupid and being trapped in my apartment. It was like COVID all over again for a day. So
terrible.
We wore masks. It really took me back.
Yeah, there were I saw some photos of Alicia's. It was like funny from afar, but terrifying to see her in it.
It was a little scary. The problem was Thursday, I really was like, should I have quarantined with a friend? Because I didn't know what was going to happen.
How long is this going to happen?
It ended. It was fine. I went outside without a mask on Friday. So it was totally fine. Yay. But anyway, also for $5 a month, we'll pick a patron of the episode, which I'm not going to do because I can't. All of you are fucking amazing. You have been with us for so many episodes. Season 10 was a wild, emotional ride. I screamed in the microphone so many times because I'm so shook. I'm like literally having an out-of-body experience on this whole season.
And I loved the podcast by the people we picked up this season. So like, thanks for everyone who—
That was amazing.
Who wrote in and like participated, because it opened up a whole new side door of this podcast.
And thank you for your differing opinions.
Yes.
Just because we disagree does not mean you're wrong unless you say something wrong. But you didn't. No one did. Everyone was great. We love
no
you
one
so
did.
I don't
remember.
We might have said some wrong stuff too. So like, don't even worry.
No, it's so fun. I love it. I actually love when people disagree.
I do too. It starts a debate and I like that. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think that's it. I think we're done. Can we get into it? Are we ready?
Let's dive right in.
I almost don't want it to be over, but I'm tired. Okay. So we're at the conclusion. We don't need to go back and say what happened, but basically Raquel is heading out on stage, right? She's in the back with the producer. We cuts to James sitting at the reunion and he's like, what a finale to the finale, right? It's crazy. And Sheena's in her trailer, the voice of the people. She's getting so nervous.
Oh my God.
And then Raquel walks out. Ariana does not even look up. James follows Raquel the entire time to her
It's just like so silent. I think I wonder if Raquel thought she would get heckled, especially after watching the reunion.
Heckled.
Yeah, and so then when it's dead silent, much
Imagine
more awkward.
Them all booing her.
Yes, I bet she did think that they would be like, "What's up, bitch?" or like, "Oh, here comes the BNBI bitch." Like all these different. Yes, silence is worse.
So she sits down. We do the hi Raquel, hey Andy. Raquel says she's holding up. She's embarrassed and she owes a lot of people apologies. So let's get into it. We're not going straight into the affair. We're going into the girls' trip, how we got here.
Which
first.
I like that. I like that.
We got to go in chronological order.
Yes.
So, Sheena wasn't invited, but I'm going to call Raquel from now on Rachel. I think that's what my notes say. A, it's easier to type, and B, fuck her at this point.
Agreed.
So
I like how Sheena in podcast refers to the old, if she tells past stories, she says Rachel or Raquel, but she calls her Rachel in present time. Yes.
I'm gonna do that too.
She'll talk about stories, and if it's in the past, she'll be like, because Raquel was her friend and she's trying to figure out who that was, and Rachel is now.
I'm going to do that too, because I was rooting for Raquel, but fuck Rachel.
Yeah.
Okay. Amazing. I love Sheena so much.
Am
I her? Because I sound like her sometimes.
I don't want this to be a bad comment, but it's kind of like Raquel is becoming her dead name.
Oh my God.
We're we're done with it.
No.
We're done. But it's she's died. No, that's what I'm saying is she's died in that way.
This is her
that
rebirth.
People are no.
She's rebirthed into Rachel.
Yes.
Okay, so Yeah, so Sheena wasn't invited, Rachel was invited, and then went after Schwartz. Why was Rachel invited? So Katie said since the beginning of the year, she was really trying to have a friendship with Rachel. They were both single. Katie was really interested in being her friend, and Katie just thought she was being misled and wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt.
And
which,
like Katie's podcast, like I remember when that came out, I listened to it, and we were like filming old seasons, and I was like, all right, this is going to be like, we wanted James and Katie to unite, but I was like, you know what, maybe Raquel and Katie will unite, and like, what a beautiful story.
I love how they all play into this idea of like Raquel was so dumb because Katie's just like, yeah, she was being misled, didn't have a thought of her own. Basically, if I could get to her, it'd be like
this. I
like
wish
she wasn't actually responsible because she was too dumb to take responsibility
I wish Rachel was smart enough to realize this is a good defense.
Yeah, she really needs to fall into the insanity defense.
Yeah,
for
just
sure.
be like, you're right. I appreciate you trying to help and guide me.
For sure. She's got to stop saying she's not dumb because it's really hurting her.
That's her best case.
So Rachel says she was so uncomfortable on that trip. And Lala says, that's not our problem. That's yours.
I kind of agree with that. Like,
I agree.
If this isn't your vibe, that's fine. But I don't think that they were outwardly making her feel uncomfortable, especially before the night after in Vegas. Evening, that was like all chaos.
Fine.
Everything else should have been fine.
So we talk about the Paris Hotel Vanderpump decoration.
Hated it. Can we just move on?
Okay, so then Andy brings up that there was real sisterhood in the car when Rachel had a panic attack. Rachel says the difference is that she was bashed at dinner afterward, and both Katie and Lala are like, we didn't bash you, we were talking about a comment you made. And then this is where Lala goes, a comment that you made that was spot on, right? Like, I wouldn't trust you around my man. Hi. Points at Sandoval.
I hate when people try to make something it isn't. Like, they were talking directly to Rachel's face about a comment she said. That's not bashing you. That's confronting you. They weren't bashing her.
And it was a genuine, like, yo, like, maybe you need to turn it down because I wouldn't trust you around my man. Yeah. And I don't think Rachel was being malicious when she was like, well, there, you don't have a man to.
I think she was trying to be cool. And
I think she was also trying to be funny. I don't necessarily think that was, and I remember thinking that too. But at the same time, looking back, this is just not a defense. Like,
it's one of those things where it now becomes something everybody can grab onto and be like, oh, look at all these comments you made.
Yes.
But it's like, we're looking back with Sandoval eyes on it. But in the moment,
I don't think she meant it maliciously. I think she was drunk, and I think she should have woken up and said, sorry, I said
you made the comment, you got to stand for it. Like, you got to answer for it. And I think having multiple people come at Rachel, this is not a defense of her, but she already struggles with one person coming at her. So I think in her mind, she believes like she was being attacked.
I agree.
But it's like, no, no,
they were just making a comment, like, calm down a little.
What words you say?
Yeah. So, what did Rachel mean by thank God you don't have a man? Rachel says she was so drunk. She was like shocked at how drunk she got that night. And her personality did shift this summer. And she started not pleasing everyone else and just pleasing herself. And this is where Lala goes, you started screwing people over. And Ariana goes, you started screwing my man. And I was like, you just say, sorry, I made the comment.
This is not the defense. This is not the defense you sit on.
Say, sorry, I made the comment.
Like, it was inappropriate. I'm really sorry.
So then Rachel says she was really selfish, and Ariana cuts her off and says, I have a lot of direct quotes, sorry, but selfish does not even begin to cover it. Diabolical, demented, disgusting, subhuman. And then Ariana tells her to get a better vocabulary.
Ariana's vocabulary is incredible. I would not be able to think of all those words on the spot.
I love the word demented.
I love the diabolical.
It could mean, well, diabolical only really means evil, but demented is like crazy or diabolical.
Yeah, but I feel like diabolical is a more strategic evil.
It is.
You know?
It definitely is. Okay, so then Rachel says her actions were human, and everyone is like, no.
My God. This is where I'm like, girlie,
no.
you should have just taped your mouth shut the minute you came
that
on stage.
Was it. Her and Sandoval, I get that they worked out this whole defense. They just needed to shut the fuck up. Just shut.
Rachel does a better job of playing the like, I'll just take it. Like she takes a little more than he does. He like Sandoval hits way below the belt all day. She like sits there and just tries to be like, I am a human being.
Well, she also did that annoying thing where people were like, you're disgusting. And she goes, I know. And I'm like, shut up. Just shut up. Just shut up for 2 seconds. Just don't say anything. Don't. So whatever. So everyone's yelling at her that this was not human. My favorite was James like laughing, going, have you watched the episodes at all?
He is the people. His little comments are so funny.
He's like Lala's like right behind. Like if Lala's fighting, he's gonna be right back there and be like, yeah, hype man. So then Sandoval tries to come in and say, it's easy to see it all now. And Lala and James are like, shut the fuck up. And he's like, no, you shut the fuck up. And James starts laughing again. He's like, shut up, Sandoval. But basically they yell at each other to shut the fuck up for a while.
That's another thing. They shouldn't sit there, Sandoval and Rachel, they shouldn't sit there and chime in and help each other. That makes it worse.
It makes it worse. Just shut up.
Like you being a team makes people fired up even more.
It's worse. So then eventually Lala's just like, hey, or not Lala, Andy is like, hey, can we just hear all of you? So Lala's gonna go first, and she says to watch the both of them act and say like what they did while fucking each other is so demonic. And Sandoval does this like, we weren't fucking, and Lala's like, oh, were you making love?
I think that might be my favorite comment. Like, sir.
It was so good. And then
why does he have to debate the semantics? Like every little thing he has to chirp at.
Yeah, so now we get into this whole like, he's like, it was one time, and the like Ariana's whole side of the stage is like, it doesn't matter if it was one time or 100 times, like you fucking did it. But Sandoval's like, no, it really fucking matters. And we find out later it doesn't fucking matter. But like he's really honing down that it was only one time.
Which is funny because when they veer off into little side stories, it's like he doesn't get critical of one time. And it's obvious in like a larger context without being said that this happened many times in many months. But weirdly, in this part he gets really granular about no, it's just one time. Sir, you're telling me you guys slept together once after boys' night and that's it? And then your affair just started in January. Yeah. Right? Like it was like we fucked one time, then we had a large emotional affair for like 6 months. All this other stuff was happening. Yeah. And then we only started hooking up in January again. The month that I was actually at my best with Ariana. Yeah. That's when I decided, the affair's gonna kick off. So it was like 2 months later you found out, basically. Yeah. So it's only been like it literally does not matter if it was an emotional affair or if you were fucking her the whole time. Yeah, because even if the affair never happened and you slept together once, that means for 7 months you've been lying. It's about the secret keeping for 7 months and you guys saying things while you know this little secret for 7 months and like saying things on camera. The opposite. Truly demonic. So then James, this is where I knew something was going to happen because we get a clip of James whispering to Lala like, why does he keep saying it's one time? It was more than one time. And I was like, why would they include that if like this goes nowhere? I thought we were going to get confirmation in Raquel's one-on-one interview, like the reunion interview. But also, I want to stand here right now and tell everybody, I knew that the end interview was Rachel after the reunion. I knew it. I didn't. I had no idea. But can we talk about how these one-on-one reunion interviews meant literally nothing? I'm wondering if they did that as an insurance policy to make sure that they could like weave a story that they wanted, if that makes sense. And they got enough from the reunion itself to be able to tell the overall affair story. Does that make sense? I guess. But give me the clips of the one-on-one interviews. They should release the whole one-on-one interviews on like Peacock or something. Yeah. Just so we can see everything that happened. Because from what they showed us, it meant nothing to me. I agree. Either that or tell me how long you actually sat there and interviewed each person. Because if it's like 30 minutes, okay, I get it. There's like really not that much footage like to use in a show. It was like 3 hours. But yes, I want to know that.
Okay, so Andy says for him, watching Rachel talk to Ariana about her intimacy issues with Tom looked diabolical. And Lisa agrees that it was like fucking wild. And Rachel says to looking back, it's really hard for her to watch. And then we cut to her one-on-one interview where she says they slept together once. And then she encouraged Sandoval to reflect and see if he was really happy with Ariana. Which ew.
She
Just
would
ew.
never do. So like that coaching Sandoval did is like really working because
he really did. Bravo, sir.
Does she even know the word reflect?
She didn't know the word boundaries.
The language she uses in these like one-on-one interview and like all throughout the reunion is not her own language. Like no, she talks so differently and not in a bad way. Like it's okay if you don't use fancy words. You don't have to, but you can tell it's an exact copy paste. Like she was given bullet points. She memorized them. She's done pageants. She knows how to memorize the speech.
Yeah. She didn't even know what boundaries were in the season. How the hell is she going to know?
That's fine. That's a big like therapy thing. I get it.
What reflect is. But Sandoval taught her what boundaries
I know. Like it goes to prove that like she is learning things, picking things up.
Clearly this man is just like, here are new words we can use in our
Here's your vocabulary lesson for the day. Dad's gonna teach you.
Ew. So then Rachel says she was coming from a place of, do you want to be in this relationship? And Ariana said the answer is yes, but you had already fucked him, so shut up, basically. Yeah. And then Ariana tells Rachel to fuck herself and with a fucking cheese grater.
I lost it when I heard it the first time because I was so excited to hear it on the Peacock version.
I was shocked. Both times when this happened, my jaw was just like on the ground.
My new favorite insult. Go fuck yourself with a cheese grater.
Fuck yourself with a cheese grater. Fuck you, you fucking slut. You're disgusting. I wish the worst that could ever happen to a person on you.
Okay, people are wondering, people are kind of asking this question generically of like, Ariana's been the perfect victim. Like, how could she not? They built a perfect storm for her, and then B, she's just incredible anyways, before and after. Is there a point where she goes too far and is no longer like perfect?
At this point, no. I think people are forgetting this was literally 3 weeks after it come out.
People are giving her grace for the reunion.
Yeah, and most people don't have to come face to face with the other woman and her ex like this and have to relive it so thoroughly like this. This was crazy. I could never, as someone who's been cheated on, I could never fucking do this. But it wasn't even my best friend. This is just so wild. I think now, right? She has done, I think, a good job of just doing like brand deals and like everyone just supports her. It's not like she's out there like TPing his house or anything still. She's just like,
house. Well, it's her house.
It's her house. But you know what I mean? She's kind of just like, fuck it.
And she's not really doing interviews. I think that's key, is like not doing all the interviews. She's not doing
interviews. She doesn't really like, I think the world has destroyed Rachel and Tom enough. Yeah. Ariana doesn't need to do something. But in this reunion, fuck that. She gets all the grace in the world. Yeah. And if she wants to be the perfect victim, she to me is not acting like a victim. We are the people that are like, the fans are like, we will destroy Tom and Rachel and make Ariana queen of the world. Yeah. I think if next season she's still like, hey, let's go fuck them up, then like, I don't know.
We got to move on.
But if she's just going to thrive and these two are going to like drown, who gives
That's true. I feel like she's just stepping into the spotlight, not causing a storm or like I think she's doing the perfect amount.
I think she's doing perfect. I think in this
I'm like, get your brand deals, girly. Get your money. Get out of that house.
Listen, even if I to this day saw like an ex that had cheated on me, I probably would still fucking rip in on them.
You'd say, like, go fuck yourself with a cheese grater.
It's the thing of like, you are confronting your ex-best friend and your ex-boyfriend in the same room and reliving the trauma of what just happened 3 weeks ago.
After,
and you just found out. Like it's
and had to watch all the episodes. They had to like watch all those episodes back to back.
Yeah, she had to watch these episodes knowing that they fucked.
Yep.
I think you give her a year to kind of get over it. And once filming starts, then like let's start anew. But this is fine. Okay, so this is when Sandoval's like, hey, you guys, we don't live our lives by logic. And James, Ariana, Katie, and Lala die laughing. They just
them laughing at him, I think, is the biggest cut to his heart.
Same. It was so funny. And Lisa's like, there's no logic here. And Sandoval's like, that's what I'm saying. Feelings took over my feelings. And Rachel then chimes in that James and Lala can't talk because they fucked and kept it a secret.
The way she like says it with her arm out,
James and Lala can't talk because they fuck.
It's clearly not natural for her to like use such vulgar language, and I think it's so funny to see her be like, they fucked.
It's bad. It's bad. But then this is where Lala stands up and says, I wasn't your best friend, ho. And okay, this is where I noticed James, he's not mad at Raquel. He's mad at Sandoval.
Yes.
Because he keeps going, he's like, I was 25. And then you hear him go like, Sandoval's 40 and still doing this shit. Like everyone's attacking Raquel, but James is solely going for Sandoval.
Because I think he truly has let go of like Rachel and like love for her, but it doesn't mean your best friend, like your friend, should hook up with your ex.
Yeah, Sandoval was like a mentor to him.
I thought about this.
How could you?
I'm rewriting our manifest. Nobody, no boyfriend rules. Like,
okay,
our rule is that if I somehow disappear or die and you don't find my body, you cannot move on with my partner. That's Alicia and I's rule from the show.
Yeah, a friend cannot hook up with my partner.
I'm sorry, but if I'm alive, you never get to like hook up or be with any of my exes. I just think that's so fucking weird. Or
it's all weird.
Need to make a case to me, like a judge and jury, of like why this is your like
person.
Like
PowerPoint presented to me so I can like figure it out.
Yes.
Okay, so Lala goes on and says she didn't know Rachel and then she met her and hated her, so it's not the same thing. What Rachel did is sick because that's her best friend and she was fucking her man.
Yes.
And this is
and one time at the start of both of their relationships is so different than 9 years in with a friend.
Yeah, and like Rachel herself has defined her and James's relationships really starting when they moved in together, which I think is wild because you should have a solid relationship before you move in with someone, but whatever. And this was before they moved in. So that's Lala's biggest, like, you didn't even define the relationships. Like, fuck off.
It's selective outrage.
Yeah. So Sandoval again is like, we weren't fucking, it was one time. And James, this is where James is like, actually, it was multiple. And of course, Sandoval his only defense is to mock James with a British accent and say multiple again. With terrible. This is when you know he's out of ideas.
If you don't have any arguments and you stoop to like mocking people, come on,
it's
sir.
Pathetic.
Like, they gonna mock you because they hate you. You can't mock them because you're below them.
You can't mock them back with a bad British accent.
And a stupid little worm mustache. Come on.
So then let's get into this mistress talk because Rachel called Lala Randall's mistress. And James, I love James. He turns to Lala and he goes, shut this down right now. I'm sick of it.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. So Lala says she's done with the mistress comment because she's not the one that did anything. She was lied to. She was told that Randall and his ex were separated and they like Lala and Randall were out in the open. They were traveling. She was like FaceTiming his kids. Like, what the fuck? And I just want to say, why do we have you ever noticed that there's no word for the other man?
Yeah.
Like in a relationship, it's always
like if the woman is married.
Yeah.
She's like sleeping with a guy on the side.
Thinking about it, they're very right. The mistress, especially on the show, always gets a bad rap. Like Sheena got a really bad rap.
Yeah.
But like it's Eddie's issue. Eddie and Brand, like it's not Brandy's problem. It's not Sheena's problem. It was Eddie that did it all. And this is the same thing. It's Randall. He lied to his wife and Lala.
Especially when it's this instance. I understand if like let's say Rachel for argument's sake, if yes, that is like a true mistress. Like you want to be in the like on the wings. Well, maybe you don't want to
also
be, but they're on the wings. Sure,
she was lied to by Sandoval. Like he's like, this isn't like our relationship sucks. But she still saw Ariana and Sandoval together. She was at fucking Valentine's Day with them and still was like No, I'm not a mistress.
I'll wait around.
No, you are. There's a difference. So, Sandoval is trying to come in with some bullshit. Lala shuts it down real quick. She was trying to keep, we see like flashbacks of like Lala trying to keep Randall a secret.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that Randall is very big on people signing NDAs, so it's possible that like he got Lala in some like legal shit that she didn't understand, and she was just kind of like, I can't talk about it on TV.
Okay, let's also be honest about how like Stassi got to keep Patrick kind of a secret. I mean, we knew his name, but like people aren't just immediately jumping on this show the first year that you're dating. So it's not that weird that we didn't see him.
Yeah.
And that like these girls who weren't her friends, she didn't really want to give information to. I don't think that's one-to-one with being a mistress.
I don't think so either. And also we have to remember the power dynamic, right? Randall was significantly older, richer, and like more established than Lala.
Yeah.
So like, of course she's going to do what he wants her to do.
Yes. If he was like, I don't want to be mentioned on the show, especially if, even if he was separated from his wife, but still going through like
a divorce. I don't know if I'd want to be a +1 on a reality TV show. That's
and
wild.
To be talked about, not to be like on the show yourself, but to be open for discussion. I would always say no.
Yeah. So Lala tells Sandoval to shut the fuck up. He points out the Oliver thing with Rachel. And Lala says she told Rachel that she wasn't a mistress and that Oliver lied to her. And Lala also brings up that Randall's ex-wife is like family to her. And if the ex-wife can say Lala wasn't a mistress, then she wasn't a mistress, which this is one of those scenarios where if the people involved are not mad, you cannot be mad.
Yeah. I mean, I do think at the time, I'm sure Amber thought she was a mistress.
But like now, I think now that
it's a little different now that they're on the same team.
Right? Randall does the same thing. Mm-hmm. And now they could be both like, maybe Amber recognizes like, oh, he's the liar.
Yeah, like they now have the open dialogue to share their stories and their versions. So Amber gets to see like, oh, I see that you weren't a mistress, like you were being lied to. Whereas if like in this moment right now, Raquel and Ariana are sharing stories, they're not really, but we would see that like Raquel or Rachel, there were plenty of times you should have known that they were in a committed relationship.
That's the problem, yeah. So Rachel says after the conversation with Lala, Lala said that she hated being a mistress because Randall doesn't take accountability. And Andy's like, oh, are you bringing this up because you feel like you're taking accountability for Sandoval's actions? And Rachel's like, no, I'm bringing it up because Lala called herself a mistress. What a stupid fuck.
Okay, I was listening to Nick Niles' podcast, and they were like, I think Rachel takes everything at face value. So when Lala says the words like mistress,
she's saying
mistress. Like I've been called. She's leaving out the word called, and it's like everybody else infers that and knows what like Lala is saying. Like I've been called the mistress. I've been called like a hoe.
After a full conversation of like you're not the mistress because the man lied to you, and I also am that way. So I've been the mistress. You can infer that she's not calling herself.
She's not saying I have been a mistress. I am a mistress.
She's saying she's been referred to by other people as a mistress. But Rachel is so fucking stupid. I'll say the S word. She's I think fucking stupid.
This is bringing me on the case on the side of she is stupid. She's not playing the part. I think
I think she's genuinely stupid. So Lala's like, oh my fucking God. Like I was saying I have to pay for someone else's lies and actions, and like this is great because karma's a real cunt, because look at Randall's fucking life.
Dude, the way they're dropping cunt, I love.
Amazing.
Gen Z has really brought that word to like a more normal place, and I'm really enjoying it.
It was amazing. So then Rachel said that Lala was just jealous that Oliver chose her over Lala. And Lala's like, oh my God, that's not it. And really asked Rachel, like, do you think this is about Oliver?
I think in the moment, yes.
I think
when they were in
Lala
Las Vegas,
was a little bitter.
She was salty.
I think she was, but I don't think I think when she said like the man, like I wouldn't trust you around my man, I think Lala was genuinely like, you're kind of a crazy drunk.
Yes.
But Rachel took that as like, she's mad that I stole Oliver from her.
I think some of Lala's aggression towards her, like in the moment, is coupled with her being a little salty. Like I think she went a little harder than she normally would have.
Okay.
Like I think she would have talked a little bit more calmly, like, oh, I don't really trust you. Like instead of being like, I don't trust you around my man.
Yeah.
But in this moment, I think like Rachel still thinks Lala's bitter and has hatred for her because Lala's always chosen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I also think Rachel has an issue with needing to feel special after watching this. So she's also like, I was special and you
I
were
was
jealous.
chosen and you
I think
weren't.
she really has this issue with competing with women that pageants like created within her.
There's a lot I see in this episode, and I'm kind of happy we like recorded this later than we have for the other reunions because I feel like it's a lot of this stuff
I needed to reflect because I do have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah, I feel that way about how she's even presenting herself. Like she is very on stage on a pageant. I think that's why she's so composed. Like she's competing right now.
I also think it's possible, right? She took maybe a Xanax to like
a lot of people
calm her nerves.
The showrunner thinks she was medicated.
Yeah, I think she was maybe medicated, but also like if you're being coached to create this false narrative, right? You're not going to get emotional because you're just like playing a part almost. That's why I think, and we'll talk about her interview later. That's why I think she was really showing emotion there, but she didn't in the reunion.
I agree. And it just, I never really thought about the competing for women thing, but I sometimes, I feel like society pits us against that. So I can't imagine like actually being in pageants and having that side of it too. But I remember being in college and like feeling like I had to compete with my friends for like male attention. And I hate
male
that.
attention. Fuck males. What the hell?
Yeah.
Fuck men.
Insane.
They should compete for our attention.
Hey, yes. Line up, gentlemen.
Fun fact, that's how humpback whales do it. The men have to compete to impregnate the women. So, like, I just think we should, as humans, adapt that, and women are the prizes.
You know what?
Not to be won. No, I take that back. Wait,
No, we're not the prizes, but you should be, like, trying out.
Be near us.
You should be trying out for the part.
So whatever, we're on. There's so much to talk about. So Rachel's like, no, you were treating me badly in Vegas though because of Oliver. And Lala's like, no, it was about a comment that you made. And Rachel says she was being harassed and that's why she made the comment. And Lala's like, when did I harass you?
I don't think she knows what harass means.
I don't either. So then Lala's so annoyed. She's like, this dumb bitch, my God, I have a degree. No one go to that school because if this is the product that comes out of it, fuck. That was my favorite. That might be my favorite. That was hilarious.
I've never thought about how I might be a reflection of every single person who went to my college, and now I'm gonna like be a little bit better for all those other people.
God. Yeah, oh shit.
Be careful, guys. If you're the D and the S word, you're really reflecting poorly on thousands of people who went to
university. Does anyone know where she went?
Sonoma, like somewhere in Sonoma, California.
Don't go. No, I'm just kidding. That school, I'm sure, is like
her sorority sister.
Yes,
posted comments on Instagram. Highly recommend looking them up. They're pretty funny.
Yeah, hilarious.
It just shows that she's a shitty person, doesn't care about other people.
I agree.
Thinks she's better than other people.
I think it's a product of her environment, truly.
Agreed.
So, Rachel was supposed to go on a date with Oliver, but then the wife, blasted Instagram, said they weren't separated. Rachel says that Oliver told both her and Lala that he was separated, which in Vegas, fine.
And again, Lala defended you on these points.
Yes.
Like, we all collectively, I think even from an audience perspective, agree you're not a mistress. Also, if you kiss a married man once that you didn't know was married, you're not a mistress.
You're not a mistress for this Oliver thing.
A mistress is a long-standing thing. You are a mistress because
for Sandoval.
Yeah, but not for Oliver.
It's different. So Andy asked Lisa if she believes or why she believes Oliver over his ex. Lisa hates women sometimes.
I get her like trying to explain, like, listen, he told me all of this. I'm closer to him, whatever.
Yeah, I get he's a good employee. She's friends with his mom. He was sending money, doing the right thing to his estranged wife.
I just need her to be like, listen, he told me this stuff. I believed him. But she
could have also just said, across. Maybe I was lied to. Like,
yeah, but she like tries to defend him. And I'm like, ma'am, can you just say, like, listen, he told me his side of the story. I'm closer to him, so I believed his side of the story.
Yeah, whether it's right or not, that's what I believed, period.
Yeah.
So Lala brings up that they weren't estranged. They were still sleeping together. And Lisa's like, yeah, like they backslid once or twice. And I'm like, but that's where the miscommunication comes in. Like, he was probably leading her on to think they were going to get back together. So he still works at Vanderpump Vegas. Lala says she really doesn't want to speak about this because she's become close with Oliver's now ex-wife.
I also need Lala to like stop saying she's besties with everyone. Like she didn't.
I love this. My God, you get screwed by a man. Lala's
no, I love that she's connected with them, but best friends, girly. You've probably talked to this girl for 6 months, and you guys are like in probably 2 different cities.
But I love knowing that if a man screws me over, Lala's gonna show up in my bathroom if I chant her name.
Her
3
connecting
times.
with them, but her using this as a point, I'm like
hilarious.
She just needs to be like, I'm in contact.
Yeah, I've become, you know, I've got what do I want to say? I've made like a relationship with this woman.
I think the best friend title is being thrown around way too much.
Hilarious. So Sandoval and Rachel are like, yeah, but you knew that Oliver and his wife weren't separated before that Rachel went on that date. And Lala's like, yeah, maybe I knew a day a week, and who cares? Lala wasn't friends with Rachel.
Exactly.
Figure it out.
Let's remember that on the girls' trip, Raquel's like, I'm out of here. We're not actually friends, whatever.
Yeah, Mistress Bimbo.
Why does Lala have to go run to Raquel and tell her, like, the information she knows?
Yeah.
They're not friends.
I don't care if you're blasted on Instagram. That's not my problem.
You're a bitch. I'm going to actually withhold. I would willingly withhold this longer.
I'd be like, I hope she figures it out. Katie, though, says Lala didn't know. Or hang on. So they ask, how long have you known? Katie says, not as long as Schwartz knew about you guys. I love Katie's little one-liners occasionally.
Yeah. Well, they're going to get mad and like argue points. And it's like, whatever. We have a second situation we can easily fire up against you two about like the same topics.
Yeah. Because
you have no leg to stand on anywhere related to relationships, cheating, mistresses. Like, let me go on with all the vocabulary. Well, you just quoted
words. Katie, because Sandoval's like, oh, you withheld information from Rachel. And Katie's like, you have no leg to stand on. And Ariana's like, withholding information.
I think I keep forgetting what happened this year.
He needs to shut up. So Sandoval's like, did you hold information because you wanted Rachel to look stupid? And Lala pulls some Garcelle shit, and she's like, I don't need to hold information to make her look stupid.
She does.
That was Garcelle to Erica, quoted perfectly. Amazing. And Katie's just like, hey, Sandoval, you let Tom look stupid. I kind of like how Katie and Schwartz still have a lot of love towards each other, because she's trying to defend Schwartz and be like, you
put him in a bad situation.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes she feels a little responsible for him, which she's not, but like he is not strong enough to make his own case against, like, she sees the Tom's power dynamic. Yeah. And knows that Sandoval or Schwartz can never stick up for himself the way Katie could.
Yeah. And I mean, whether they're divorced or not, that was her best friend and life partner.
There's still a lot of loyalty she has, even if he doesn't display the loyalty back to her.
And she hates Tom Sandoval. We're letting fucking loose.
Loves this battle.
So Lisa says Lala is angry because of what happened to her. And Lala's like, yeah, I've been through something traumatic. Mm-hmm. And Lala's like, I don't want you to be Lisa says, I don't want you to be a bitter woman. And Lala's like, I'm not bitter, I'm aware. And Sandoval's like, okay, Lala, look at you. And Lala stands up and goes, yeah, look at me.
I love they're so good at these comebacks where it's like, they're like, I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever you did it and it bounces off and sticks to you.
Sticks on you. And then James is like, look at you this season, you psychopath. And then Lala tells both Sandoval and Rachel that they slither. And James again calls Sandoval a worm with a mustache. And Sandoval calls her phony. And Lala's like, he calls her phony because Lala's been the most vocal but knows the least. And Lala goes, I think I called it pretty well.
Yes.
Like, look at me. And she goes, and you hate me. That's why you hate that I like trigger
I
you.
love when he is activated and has to come with these comebacks really quick because they're not thought through.
No.
And they actually always go against himself.
Yeah, Lala's sitting here like, I see you for who you are. You're dangerous. That's why you hate me. That's why you're pissed.
You have the most to say, and it's like, well, I'm spot on. So, like, what do you want to say about that?
Yeah, name one time I was wrong. Do it. I'll wait.
I'm the phony one. You're the one who lied all season. Come on.
So then we cut to Sheena's trailer. Brock and Allie are here.
Love,
the people's court. Okay, then Andy says, let's talk about Schwartz and Raquel. Rachel making out by the pool. Schwartz does this dumb comment about how he thinks he looks sexy making out. And Katie goes, no, it was like father-daughter.
That is like, I think one of the biggest insults.
Oh, that was so
I
funny.
would have to go to therapy for weeks if someone told me I looked like a mother-son kissing out or making out.
I'm throwing up. It was so
that
bad.
would haunt me for the rest of my life. Even just saying it in like an example.
He thought he was gonna be so funny, and Katie goes, nah.
Listen, pro tip number 1, don't kiss over a table.
No, horrible.
Come on.
It did kind of look like father-daughter kissing. And so Andy asks if Katie overreacted to the kiss. Obviously, the chosen side of the reunion says no. Andy brings up the boundaries that Katie had set and why Schwartz basically had disregarded these boundaries and why. And Schwartz makes another joke about Katie and Rachel not being friends at that moment. And it's bad because, Andy, if Andy cringes, it's bad. And he did. And then Schwartz says, like, he always thought him and Rachel had a bit of a thing. And Ariana's like, no, because she fucked your best friend. So that was a lie. And Schwartz is like, I don't know. We had like chemistry. Katie goes, well, she's a cunt and you're a drunk. So that's kind of what happened.
Love.
I was like,
and I want to put a pin in this kissing until we get to Rachel's one-on-one interview because I have a lot to say, but I want to say it in the context of her interview.
Great. We'll go back there then. So then Lisa looks at Rachel and is like, how could you do that after you slept with Tom Sandoval? Lisa cannot comprehend.
Because at this point, we're talking about the sleeping after the boys' night. Like 2 weeks prior, let's say.
Yeah. 2 weeks before the wedding.
Just at one point, you slept with his best friend and then you kiss him. Which,
I
mean, I think it's gross because she's like in love with Sandoval, really into him. But if this were just like a girl going out and met 2 guy friends, not that weird. I'm gonna be honest.
Rachel's gross for this. I mean, it's unsettling for sure, but I don't think it's gross. I think what's gross is Sandoval was like pushing. That's gross. That's weird. That's horrible.
To me, if Sandoval's doing that, like he doesn't want to be with her. It was a true accident. And it's like you got too drunk and you accidentally slept with this girl and she's clingy, and so like you want to like push her off you, so you like dump her on your friend, which is still weird.
Obviously they were fucking in Mexico, so that's even grosser. That's Sandoval's that's the part I
want to talk about at the end, because I really want to talk through.
We'll get into that.
It'll take a long time.
So Andy brings up how Katie's mom, Terry, actually talked to Rachel about the pain that like the whole Maloney family is in. And she's like, did she reevaluate going after Schwartz at all? And Rachel says she did close that door to make out with Schwartz. And everyone's like, it really wasn't that close then, because you did it after that.
I love them saying that. Like you didn't close the door.
Ariana calls her a fucking cunt. I think that's important to leave in. And then Rachel blames Schwartz for wanting to make out with her, and he instigated it. And
which Katie's I do think that's a fair point of being like, he's the one who said something to like, he brought it up.
But it was only, he set it up in the context of Katie's going to be so mad if we do this. Let's do it. So if Rachel had actually closed that door for Katie's sake because of what Terry said, she would have been like, no.
It shows how Rachel follows men and like what they want, she will give them.
Yeah. And then I love James's comment when he's like, that whole side of the room is incesty and dirty and weird.
I think that comment in this conversation is where Schwartz really starts to change his tune.
As he should, because
he's like, this is fucking weird.
It is. And I think Schwartz knew in Mexico? No, I think he had no idea.
I don't think he had any idea.
Reflecting back, he needs to be more mad.
I think that's what he's doing right in this physical moment. He's like, wait, this is really weird.
Yeah, he needs to be more mad at these two people that put him in this horrible situation. And he's
physically sitting in between them, which I think is making
because Ariana wouldn't let him move.
The showrunner talked about that in a Variety interview, and he's like, normally, like, we don't take direction from the cast, but having our cast feel safe is like, and Ariana like willing to sit down is more important than having the seating chart we wanted. Yeah, and I'm like, good.
Like I said, this is a crazy ass situation. Like, this would never happen in real life. So if she's like, no, they're not going to sit next to each other, then
I think they knew if they got their seating chart, I think Ariana and Wolfpack would have gotten up.
Well, Ariana said if Sheena doesn't come back at the end, I'm up and out. And I think they were like, Great. We gotta make this happen.
We will switcheroo again.
And we know Sandoval's not gonna leave because he's a narcissist. He needs every minute on TV he can get. So then we bring up Lala and James hooking up while they were with Randall and Rachel. James is like, he would have taken this to his grave for sure if it wasn't brought up.
I love how he's like, this is the last time we're discussing this. Like, this is overplayed.
He loses it later at some point. So then Andy asks him if there's any other hookups he wants to own up to because we have Gigi and Ellie and Logan and Hope, and he denies them all. And then poor baby Allie in the trailer looks at Sheena and Brock, and you can tell she kind of covers her mic and she's like, when was this? And Sheena's like, oh, it was a really long fucking time ago. Like, before you even met him. And Allie's like, oh my God, thank you. I thought this was recent. And Sheena's like, no.
Different person.
No, whole different person he hated that he cheated on all the time. I think all of these were true for sure.
I agree, but I don't think he wants this conversation to derail into his cheating.
No, he's like,
I love how he's like,
no,
scandal. I'm willing to comment.
Yeah. So then Andy asks Rachel if she ever asked James if he hooked up with anyone else. Or hooked up with Lala while they were together, and she's like, no, but I noticed the flirtation. It made me uncomfortable because I felt like Lala didn't have respect for me, and Lala's like, still don't.
No, I didn't.
None. And Rachel says that's totally fine, but up until this point she hasn't done anything wrong, so the judgment on who she is completely, and Lala interrupts and goes, pretty spot on. Judgment is based off character, and your character is shit.
And like, I don't like you. I can make that judgment and assumption.
Yeah.
Whenever I want.
On anything.
Yeah.
If you exist, I don't like you, then I don't like you.
If Lala like spent the last X amount of years that Rachel's been on this show being like, she's a bimbo, she's a mistress, like all those comments, that would be wrong. Like, I get you saying like, oh, you should have taken those comments back. I wasn't that at the time. But her being like, you're a Bambi-eyed bitch, you have nothing going on up there, that's pretty spot on.
Yeah, she called it. And Rachel says everyone makes mistakes, so you could say that about anyone in the room. And we cut to Sheena, our voice, she hates this so much.
Yes, and we have dealt with those at every single reunion.
Yeah, this is literally what this is your
like
trial. This whole show is based off cheating, ma'am. Like, we've seen this before.
We've gone through it every season, and they've sat there in their chair.
It just has never been this diabolical. That's why we're really honing in. So Rachel says Lala resented her because, and then she goes, my voice is shaking, so I'm gonna breathe.
Her with these blowing raspberries, because I always have
the blowing raspberries, the captions.
I always have captions on. I literally wanted to throw my remote at my TV.
I laughed every time she blew raspberries.
I think either like a coach or a therapist has told her, when you're overwhelmed, breathe out like this. Like, somebody taught her to do this, and I think it's so funny.
It's so funny
because it's a sensory thing. I bet, like, it brings her, like, it grounds her. I bet. I hate to make fun of her own therapy things, but I'm like, God, this
it's the captions. It's the caption of blows raspberries that pops up, and it's like, just so
you're
funny.
A child. Like, you're a child.
So she says that the attention that Lala got from James started going to Rachel instead. So Lala was jealous,
which I do think that was a factor in the beginning.
I don't.
I think Lala wanted James's attention.
She didn't want a relationship with James, though.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean she doesn't want his attention.
And James still gave her plenty of attention.
I think it's like the reverse of what Rachel's saying, though. Like, Lala loved James' attention, so she kept like kind of competing for it, I'll say.
I think she just didn't like Rachel. So she was like, fuck this bitch. So then Lala looks at Rachel and was like, I need you to get mentally evaluated. And Rachel's like, don't worry, I am. I was like,
again,
good, but
like, it's funny how sometimes she should say things and sometimes she shouldn't say things.
She's like,
you don't need to share this.
Smile on her face. She's like, I am currently.
Or if you're going to, you're like, I do take this very seriously. Like, I am going to get mentally evaluated.
She's like, yep, I'm on my way.
Yep. My appointment's at 7 a.m. tomorrow.
It was just so funny. So then Andy asks why it's unforgivable for Schwartz and Rachel to make out, but Rachel should get over the James and Lala thing, which I hate saying this, but when Lala told Rachel about the hookup, Rachel was very much like, okay. And I understand kind of like taking a moment to think about this and being like, oh, I'm mad about it.
Yeah.
I do think she brought it up at a time that served her narrative, but I'm not mad at her being mad about it.
No.
She should have like not gone on this girls trip and been cool with Lala then.
That's the thing, is then she needed to pull Lala for a conversation after that dinner with Lala and Katie when she found out, or even after the fact, even if whenever she did her like selective outrage on the girls trip, then she needs to sit down with Lala and have a real conversation about it. If you're gonna now like be upset.
Yeah. So James is very upset we're discussing this. This is where he's like, am I just that entertaining that we need to talk about
He's like, this is the last time.
So Lala says she expected Rachel to get over it because when Lala told her, Rachel was totally over it until it served her narrative. And then she made a stupid comment and she had to turn it back around on Lala. And Rachel denies this and says, this is Lala at her finest. And Lala says, I am at my finest. I'm always at my finest.
Rachel can't make the full point. Like, this is Lala at her finest. You got to follow it up with, she always like dismisses my feelings, whatever. Like, you can't just say this is Lala at her finest. It's like, I think this is her at her finest. I think she's doing great.
I think Rachel would have really been better to be like, look, when you originally told me I wasn't mad, but I had time to process it. And I realized like, I really was upset by this. And I tried to push it into the back of my mind, but it just like kept eating away at me.
Yeah. And like, I would have been like, I feel for you. I get it.
I get that.
It really shows she does not have much going on up there.
That's why Sandoval had to coach her.
Which, like, I'm kind of happy he did. At least she had something to say at these reunions.
So Andy then brings up beach day when James got mad at Schwartz. Why was he
They both laugh when this gets brought up. And I love that they're, like, not harboring any ill will on this.
So why was this so triggering? And James, I get it. He's always the butt of the joke. No one, I think, takes his DJ career seriously. So I get where
it's like, let him be proud and about his
he was losing his friends in this season. He felt like, so I get why he was mad, but he does say he's been working really hard. He's going to open for this like DJ he's looked up to his whole life. Like, and everyone made it seem like they compared it to like fucking joke Rachella. Like, fuck that. And so Andy's
like, even if it was a success and like they were still together, I think still would have like hurt a little bit.
Because you just played in an empty desert for like 10 of your closest friends.
Yeah. Like, and this is the highlight of his career thus far.
Yeah.
You're minimizing a career high.
Yeah. So
no matter what.
Andy is like, isn't that the joke though? And Sandoval's like, yeah, that was the joke. And James again is like, it was disrespectful and I dare Schwartz to make fun of my DJ career again. And I was like, he is so upset. But so then Sandoval tries answering for Schwartz. James tells him to shut the fuck up and does that thing where he covers his ears and goes, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Because like, it's serious. Why are you getting involved? This is between Schwartz and James. Like, shut the fuck up. And James says that, like, I want to hear from Schwartz.
And Schwartz isn't defenseless. Like, if he couldn't string some words together in his defense, I get jumping in for your friend. But Sandoval jumps in before Schwartz even has a minute to speak.
It's before James stops
even speaking. Finishes. Yeah.
Yeah. So then Andy does say that Schwartz apologized like a bunch of times. And James goes, fine, apology accepted, it's dropped. And Andy's like, but you should apologize for throwing a drink in Schwartz's face. And James is like, you know what? No. I'm not sorry about that.
Good. I love that because Schwartz has dumped so many drinks that he deserved one
on women.
Yeah,
fuck that. I love James. Somehow defender
and Schwartz
of
doesn't
women.
care. Like, this is really not that deep.
He says, he's like, it wasn't about the drink. It was about like ripping my life apart after.
I mean, that read was spot on though.
Yeah, it was amazing. But James does say like, fine, I'm sorry about that. Not sorry about the drink. And Schwartz is cool with it and they drop it.
Because both jokes are like ripping into, we're both right. So I get it. They cut deep, so you gotta apologize for it.
Yeah. So let me take a break. There's a quick fight about how James is talking too much, and Sandoval always needs to comment on that, but it wasn't too much. Then in Sheena's trailer, Allie discovers that Sheena was the pizza girl from the Jonas Brothers music video.
I like that this was in the extended cut. This didn't need to make the real one, but I loved this.
But I'm fucking obsessed with Allie for being like starstruck by Sheena.
And her being like, I made James watch it 3 times.
Listen, when I found that out too, I was a little shook. So
and Sheena being like, yeah, your age group, like I'm like, there's like
everyone in their 20s, and Brock has no idea what she's talking about.
No.
Brock is like, who? Okay, so we got to talk about the rumor and the open relationship. It started when Rachel and Sandoval were spotted dancing at the Abbey, and James interrupts to stand up and do Sandoval's signature dance move.
Oh my God.
Spot on, by the way.
So funny.
So then we go back to Sheena's trailer, and Allie says who's it? Sheena says that Sandoval and Rachel made it seem like they were with Allie and all of them. And Allie's like, no, we walked in to find them.
Which,
so what
I feel like that discussion did not get put into the season. So this is really interesting context about how it was being talked about.
It seems
in
like
the group.
Allie said, hey, I spotted these 2 dancing at the Abbey or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when brought up to Sandoval and Rachel, they were like, yeah, we were with them. We were all hanging out. People. But then you cut back to Allie and she's like, no, we brought those people. They were there. Like, we had no plans.
We showed up to the Abbey with this group and they happened to be there. Yeah. And like, we didn't go together. We didn't plan this.
Which is important. So Katie found it strange, but didn't really think anything was happening between them. But eventually, like later on, she was like, that was weird.
I agree. I feel like it would peak like a red flag, but you're like, like whatever, it happens one time. Like you both wanted to go out, nobody else did. Like I get how it happens, but when it stacks up against all these other things, it's like sketchy.
Yeah. So Sandoval says nothing happened at the Abbey. They weren't fucking then, and like,
isn't that the night that he claims is the first the one night stand?
No,
I'm confused on his story.
I think he told Schwartz it was the night at the Abbey, but because he said it was
no. In his one-on-one, he told Andy that it was the night of the Abbey when Rachel was filming. He wasn't filming. Like Sandoval and Schwartz weren't filming.
I can't track his 50 stories.
I can't either.
He told someone.
Because he's told so many in the press, on like the finale, and then like in
the
this
reunion story is the one night stand was after guys' night. So he's saying like we had a one night stand, but then we stopped until January, so that this was fine. The Abbey was normal.
Well, then he's told 2 stories during this reunion, because in his one-on-one, I'm pretty sure he said it was the Abbey. Like they connected at guys' night, and that's when he told Rachel his like feelings or something, or was open and honest with her. And then the Abbey night is when
it was a kiss. I don't care.
Yeah, that is the night they kiss. That's what he said.
This is so stupid. So Sandoval says, nothing happened at the Abbey. They weren't fucking then, and they were there with James's dad and Allie. And Sheena, we cut back to Sheena's trailer, and Allie's like, no, they weren't with us.
Yeah.
And James also, because you can tell Allie's like, James better say something. It cuts back to James, and he's like, no, you didn't come with us. Like, why would my dad be with you?
Yes.
And so
what a weird group. We wouldn't invite you to this. Like, it's fine you hung out with us. Like, we invited you to the table once we saw you.
So Sandoval and Rachel were like, we were at your table. And James is like, yeah, my table that I invited you to when I saw you at the Abbey separately from me.
Yes, that's
a difference. Sandoval's like, we were there with people. And James is like, yes, my dad and Allie, you were there with them once we got there.
You were there with my people.
Like, you joined us. So then Andy asks if it's possible that Sandoval started this open relationship rumor about himself so he could cheat. And Ariana says she thinks so because of what like was said at Coachella in the hot tub.
Did you see Sheena's podcast?
No.
Okay, Sheena had on Nima from Shaws of Sunset.
Yes, actually, you're right. You sent it to me.
I know you didn't watch Shaws of Sunset, but this guy was on it. Shaws of Sunset has been like it's no longer running, but so that also films in LA. So I mean, similar to like New York or like East Coast, you know, the Bravo people just all hang out.
Yeah.
So Nima was kind of set up with Rachel to be her like first date post James because Rachel was nervous and Sheena set it up. And had been on a few dates with Nima and like good guy. And so like, this will be an easy way to jump in. And so when they were in New York, they like hung out a little bit. Nima wasn't into it, whatever, but he never went to Coachella. But this like hangout was after Coachella was in like May.
Mm-hmm.
And Rachel told Nima about this story. Like Nima's the one who heard this story and told Sheena. And I believe Nima. Like, I don't think he's not like
he has nothing
shady like that.
Yeah.
He's always been like a decent, like just a good guy who like just tells the truth and like would be like, oh, that's also weird, and said it to Sheena.
How would this change his life? Telling Sheena this,
especially back then.
Yeah, like he's just kind of like,
listen to this weird comment.
Yeah, he can't win or lose with this comment.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Rachel says like she didn't say that. Cuts to Sheena. Sheena's ready to throw hands. She's ready to rip off her fake nails, make a fist, and punch Rachel in the face.
I love how she's like, oh, the liar's lying.
It's like, if she lies. And I was like, she's gonna go through that TV. So Sandoval and Rachel both deny this open relationship.
They like look at each other and they're like,
yeah, Ariana's like, okay, then like Rachel lied, which we already know because she's a fucking liar. And Rachel's like, well, I never said that. And this is where they like chuckle and they're like, that's crazy that people think we said that. And this obviously sets Ariana off because she tells them to fuck themselves, which this would be hard, right? You see your best friend who cheated or who had an affair with your ex-boyfriend, and they're like, oh my God, we're on the same team. Can you believe? And she's like,
they're the crazy ones. We never said this.
Yeah, we're not crazy. So Sandoval, then we bring up him yelling at Katie about accountability. And Katie's like, I think he should remove that word from his vocabulary because he's the one holding a giant secret.
I think everybody should, like, except for your therapist. Like, nobody should be like holding you to the flames because we all live in fucking glass houses.
Holding someone else to accountability is wild.
If you're going to use that word, you should stand up there and take accountability for 4 things before you actually ask somebody else to.
4 whole things. But yeah, Katie says remove that from his vocabulary. Sandoval says he's actually taking accountability now.
You're not.
Everyone laughs.
You're not.
Hilarious.
When you say I'm sorry, but you're not taking accountability.
Even Jax Taylor is on his podcast tour and he's like, it's the I'm sorry, but.
Yes.
Like at least, I mean, Jax was the shittiest of all shitty, but he even would say, I'm sorry, and just leave it.
And he would put all the details out there.
Yeah, and he did take accountability. It ended him in the gutter a lot of times, but he would say, I did that. But
he sat there and he's like, I get it. Why you're upset with me.
Yeah. So then Andy asked, was Sandoval worried about being caught? And Sandoval's like, no, because I wasn't doing anything. And Ariana's like, you had fucked her. And Sandoval's like, yeah, one time. And Ariana's like, but that's the inappropriate relationship. Hanging out with her after you have fucked and keeping it a secret from me is inappropriate.
Which he never thought out any of his stories. He really needs a PR person to run these stories by, because let's say, like, for this argument's sake, you know, they fucked one time. He had never thought through that then the next bad thing is constantly lying about that and having this inappropriate relationship with someone you slept with and, you know, cheated on.
And having it like openly in front of your partner's place.
Yes.
Or face. Yeah, like it's crazy. And even Lisa's like, it doesn't matter because like as soon as you fucked Rachel, it's not
the relationship
a friendship anymore.
Yeah. You guys are harboring the secret and it's like an illicit little game behind the scenes.
Yes.
Disgusting.
Which I do think he gets off on.
Oh, loved it. And I think she does too. I think she loves being in an inner circle of something.
Yeah, I think she likes having a secret. I think she likes having a secret man to be like, because, right, think of it from Rachel and her like psycho ass brain. She's watching Ariana and Tom be cute, but secretly she's like, I have your man. And like, you don't even know. You're too dumb to know I have your man.
Yes. Thing. It makes her feel powerful.
Yeah. And it makes him just be like,
it makes me really like, this doesn't negate anything she's done, but it makes me really sad that like, this is like, provides her happiness. Like, I really want her to get help because like that's
I think she does. I think in the end, we'll talk about it at the end. It doesn't matter. We'll talk about it during the review, what's it called?
Interview. Yeah.
So Sandoval brings up that having his friend, he has this friend he has sex with that like when they're single, they hook up, but then they go back to being friends. And Katie's literally like, that's when you're single. Like it's different.
Yeah. Because the thing is, then if a girlfriend asks, you would be honest with her. Like, yeah, we've slept together. I think it does change your dynamic as friends, but it's not some secret.
Also, you've been with Ariana for 10 years. This girl's not a threat anymore, right? Yeah. If it's been 10 years since you hooked up with this bitch.
Yes.
Bye.
So, or what are you trying to say? That you've slept with this girl while you were in your 9-year relationship? Well,
she was single, but he was in a relationship. One of them has to be single at all times. So Lisa is still like, the secret changed everything. Schwartz says like, he kind of can figure out where the open relationship, and this has been like a rumor for a while, but he thinks it started with like the Billy Lee rumor, which we kind of heard about, of like Billy Lee, Sandoval, and Ariana having like a threesome, and then people were like, it's an open relationship thing.
Ariana with the Lala moment. Like I can see how like the general rumor started, but I think Sandoval making his comment at Coachella, I believe he said that 100%.
I agree.
Anchored it for this season.
I agree. So, okay, we have the affair. So Rachel's been staying with her family in Tucson. Sandoval and Rachel have hung out in the last 3 weeks. Rachel was considering skipping the reunion because she was ashamed and embarrassed that she's capable of keeping the secret from someone who has been in her corner since the beginning. Rachel apologizes for betraying Ariana and says she can't fathom the pain she's caused, and selfish is not the right word. And the way they handled it was a mistake, and she sees the consequences she didn't consider because she was living in the moment. It's so shitty to live in the moment at the expense of other people.
For 7 months, I listen, I'm all in for like a month. Whenever it first starts, it's like hot, heavy, it's exciting. But then like the fall and winter come, and like you take a beat, and you're not living in the moment.
No,
it's not a moment anymore.
Also, this lying liar has probably been telling you for 3 months before January even starts, right? Or more, 6 months. Oh, I'll break up with Ariana. Our relationship sucks, blah, blah, blah. At some point, do you like go, he's not going to break up with Ariana?
Give me a date.
Yeah. Like,
I have quickly come around to, he was never going to tell Ariana because of the house situation in the bar. He could never get out of this relation. Well, not like never, but like at this present moment, could not.
I also think
he needs that house. It cannot be sold.
I truly think he was trying to do that thing where he was like trying to be just so insufferable that Ariana would break up with him. So then he wasn't the bad guy. So he keeps bringing up these moments of them like not being good and like, oh, Ariana, we never spend quality time together and I'm unhappy. And maybe eventually he thought it would push Ariana to be like, then let's fucking break up.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, dude. You weren't going to get there.
I just financially don't see a clear way out for him because they like even selling the house now is so difficult because of that extra loan.
That's bad. So Rachel did this because her and Sandoval had a connection. She felt seen and heard by him. And Ariana's like, were you not seen and heard by me? And Rachel says it was different because she opened up about personal stuff to Sandoval and not Ariana. And Ariana's like, that was inappropriate. Like that's so inappropriate.
I cannot imagine. I'm gonna go see 2 of my friends right now and they're married, or like after we record this, and I cannot imagine. I'm like equally, I met them at the same time, like similar to how Rachel like met Sandoval and Ariana, like they were together. I cannot imagine sitting down with the husband and being like, here's my personal life.
Yeah, it'd have to be both of them.
I would openly tell both of them at the same time, but it would be directed at my girlfriend first, and he would just also be there.
Yeah, I was really trying to think about this. And there's only one couple where I would open up more to the man than the woman.
But you wouldn't because of
no, I was friends with the man
him first.
Way before.
That is the only moment that it makes sense.
And we have never crossed the line. We have never hooked up, even when we were both single. Like,
but I feel like you would still probably sit there and be like, "This is kind of weird. Let me find someone else."
Yeah, it's not like I'd call him. Like, I'll never, when he's with his wife, I never, period, call him and be like, "This is my problem." Yeah. Like, if I see him, I'll be like, "What's up?" And we'll like kind of talk. But
yeah, you'll like catch up, but you won't be like, "Can you meet me for coffee?" Like, I really need to get this off my chest.
I would do that, but like also I would never be like, "Come to my apartment late at night and we can discuss my feelings." Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
It's all weird.
I don't think you would ever, I think you would find someone else before it ever.
I would.
That's would the other thing is
I would hit 17 other people before I would call.
Yeah, it's like the whole world would have to die before he became your person.
Yeah. Like,
open up to about everything.
Between me and her, or him and her, I'm gonna pick him.
Yeah.
But like,
between him and all your other friends,
you'd
find someone else.
I would call you way before I would call this dude.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Weird. It's all weird. So Rachel says she's just been a people pleaser and she started pleasing herself. And Ariana immediately
is
like,
I'm all go for. Like, girly, that's great. Like, I don't think you should sit there and be a people pleaser. And like, I'm glad you've made that switch, but that is not then a direct road to fucking your best friend's
that's the thing. Boyfriend. I think be a people person, but when you're directly and knowingly hurting someone else, like I think if you accidentally hurt someone else, you're like, "Oh fuck!" But you knew this woman was in a relationship with this man.
I think her not being a people pleaser is the Katie situation. You know, like she's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna throw caution to the wind," and just like whatever. Her arguments in this reunion are defenses for her situation with Katie and Schwartz, not Ariana and Sandoval. Like, they don't make sense.
Yeah, I think truthfully, I'm blaming Schwartz way more than Rachel for that whole situation because he crossed the boundary.
I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm gonna do what I want. Fine. So you kiss someone at a wedding when he says like, "I kind of want to do this." You're like, "This is just wild. Let's do it."
This is just all wild.
A 7-month affair is not just like some kiss at a wedding that you're like, "Sorry, Katie, I kind of hurt your feelings."
So Ariana goes off and says, "So my dog just died. I cried in your arms and you thought I should go fuck her boyfriend." And then she calls Rachel lower than low and a psychopath and a terrifying person and a dementor because Rachel loves Harry Potter and hopes that Charlotte haunts her and Ariana will never speak or see her again and she will be better for it.
My sister made this comment about the Harry Potter thing of like, Sandoval's too old to be a Harry Potter kid. Like, it came out when like we were all younger.
Yeah. Like, so, we're like, Rachel's age.
Of Harry Potter, he's probably like, great, or like he sees it now and he sees it as like a kid's movie and she's like in love with it.
Yeah, horrible. So they couldn't stop because it was too hard to turn away from each other.
Shut the fuck
this
up.
Is so gross.
This is where even if it is true, you don't say it out loud, people. Come on.
Yeah, so Rachel says she was in love and she still is, and Ariana's obviously triggered.
Is like, yes, I love him.
I love him. Ariana's so triggered. And then Andy asks Tom if he's in love. Tom takes 20 years to answer the whole question. Even Lala's like, it's a really easy question, like yes or no.
I'm sorry, if a man has to breathe out and decide if he's in love with me, especially in such a like pinnacle moment.
So you're not. He says, "I'm sorry." Yes. Like,
how embarrassing if a man said, "I'm sorry, yes, I'm in love with her." No, like, I'm over it. You clearly don't actually want me.
Yeah. Ariana laughs.
Choice because you have nothing left.
Yeah, it's bad. Ariana laughs, says "grody," and then calls this whole thing pathetic. And this is where Lala's like, yeah, but like, it's so amazing that these two horrible people did this to you for you, Ariana. And then she says my favorite comment. She says, "You're out of this torture chamber," because I can't even imagine being with you, Sandoval. Like, put a bullet through my head or put a bullet through my brain.
I am dead. Like, I love when they really serve up that Sandoval is like nothing to them and how incredible this actually is, because it is a knife to his heart to be like, you are so much better off.
I love the like, I would literally rather get shot in the face than like be your other
I could
person,
never
Sandoval.
be with him.
Like, Jesus hell.
And remember when before Sandoval broke and like the early season started, wasn't it Lala and Katie were on Watch What Happens Live and they said like they're gonna get Ariana out of her relationship next, and Sandoval was so upset.
Yeah,
this was like a few weeks before Sandoval broke.
Lala
this is another pointer that in my mind he did not want out of this relationship.
Lala said like, oh, Katie's out, I'm out, like we just need Ariana out now. It was something so funny. Yeah, and he was really offended.
And it's like, you know what? We got her out, bitch. We got her out.
Put a bullet through my brain.
God.
So Ariana tells Rachel she is nothing and wants that to sink in. And Lala tells Rachel, like, you won't have Sandoval forever. Like, he's gonna cheat on you too. Like, this is a pattern. This is who he is. And so Rachel walks off, and Ariana and James both are like, bye.
You should leave.
And so she just like grabbed a sip of water and came back.
Which I just like, I want her to think through and be like, this is her moment to actually have the attention and like get her emotion across to the audience.
She should have cried. She should have sobbed.
Yes, but instead she's like, I just need water.
I just need water. Do you have it?
Girly, be strategic. You know they're gonna put this in the show. Come on. Be like, it's just getting to me. Like, it's really hard to like be confronted with it all. Like, that would have been like, got you some brownie points.
Hi, do you guys have water? Like, do you sell water here? I don't have money, but how much?
Oh my God.
So then we talk about Ariana's pool party where Rachel called Lala a mistress bimbo, and they all go projection. And then that was definitely after she slept with Sandoval. And Sandoval's like, isn't it only a mistress if it's like an ongoing thing? Because we only fucked once.
And he's like, I'm actually
I'm really serious. I'm really serious. I need to know.
This is the biggest one, because at least the other ones, like, it was just comments, and I thought he was just adding context to like the Schwartz thing. Like, by the time she had kissed Schwartz, it was just one time. But no, this is like, she's not a mistress. It happened one time. Just clarifying, right?
And Lisa's literally like, semantics. This is semantics.
He's like, no, I'm really just trying to understand. Isn't that
you were common law husband, wife. You're sleeping with the best friend who knows you're in a relationship. Like, that's mistressy. And so after the beach, Sandoval, Schwartz, and Rachel went into the jacuzzi. Remember, I can't believe Tom Sandoval had Raquel.
I love. And then Katie,
what? Away.
Literally Katie eating a sandwich. What?
Honestly, I want my whole ringtone to just be, I can't believe. Just that part. I can't believe.
I want a moment like that, because I love when I'm adjacent to the drama. Like, being told drama like Ken just dropped at Lisa's house, like, I would have lived for being there. I love those moments. I'm gonna be so honest.
He was so used to just push a storyline. Like, it was so good. So yeah, did Rachel spend the night? Because Sandoval lied about Rachel spending the night. And Sandoval's like, I didn't have sex with Rachel that night. And then there's this whole
you had that slip up with James where you said she went into your room. Come on.
There's the whole yelling of like, was Schwartz there? Was he not? What happened? Where did everyone sleep? But basically Schwartz is like, look, I co-signed the lie, but nothing weird happened while I was there.
I like how he says nothing weird happened in the jacuzzi, and they're like, I would hope not.
Yeah, gross. You were there.
If my friends, even if this isn't like an affair, are hooking up in a jacuzzi and I'm just sitting there, I'm not staying around.
No, I'm out. I'm going to hang out with my dog.
That's like same with like a hotel room. If I'm sharing a hotel room with someone, you're not banging next to me.
No, I'm gonna literally break that up.
To be honest, the guy's sleeping in another bed and I'm sleeping with my girlfriend in a bed just to guarantee this doesn't happen.
Yeah, 100% I'm gonna cockblock
You're a bad friend if you're doing that.
For sure. At least give your friend a warning so they can find a different place to sleep that night. Jesus. So Ariana, looking back, there were a lot of red flags. Like, you know, Ari, do you see that you missed them? And Ariana's like, sure, but you know, when you're in love with someone and you think this is the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with, and they tell you something, you just think it's the truth. Like you believe your partner, which is why she didn't follow his ass to Raquel.
I can't. If she just followed me, she would have known.
The blame. So Andy asks if Sandoval ever hooked up with Rachel in his home, and he's like, no. And everyone's like, are we supposed to believe you? Because we don't. Like,
what I don't understand is at this point, like TikTok is blowing up about all these like details, and like the world is blowing up with the details. Just fucking be honest.
Yeah, honestly,
this is your time to like let it all hang loose.
That's the thing.
And put it to bed. Like this was your moment to be honest.
Could have
and shut it down for the rest of the time.
They could have looked fun, like given they're still gonna look like trash, but they could have looked like honest trash if they just said everything. Now they're just fucking liars still. Like both of them still are just fucking did this.
That's the thing. The redemption tour they needed to play was to be fully honest about things, be contrite, not defend themselves, not bring up other people's shit. They just needed to take it, and they didn't.
Yeah. So everyone rallied around Ariana, and Andy asked Sandoval if the support was authentic or were they just there for the likes. And Sandoval again does that whole like he's so appreciative that everyone was there for Ariana.
You were mad that people were quote unquote throwing parties.
Yeah. But he was sad that none of their mutual friends texted him. And Ariana again is like, what did you think was going to happen? Like people would want to be friends with you?
People would just reach out to me. He truly is delusional.
She's like, no one was going to text you. What were they going to say?
Her friend Brad has said, like, he knew them equally. Or, like, honestly, he knew Sandoval longer. I think it's pointed to those people who knew Sandoval longer, but became equally good of friends with Ariana. I understand the idea of, like, listen, you were my friend first. But Sandoval, you're the one who fucked up. This wasn't just a breakup, and you're upset that your friends aren't also there for you. Yeah. You're the one who did this.
You did this. Why would we text you and be like, are you fine?
And it speaks to your character. Like, if my friend did this to my other friend, I would not want to be friends with the Sandoval. Like, if you can fuck over the girl you've been sleeping next to for 9 years.
Yeah, if you're I don't want to know what you're friends with both in the couple, fuck that. I'm picking Ariana. Yeah.
I'm actually blocking your number. I don't need to ever talk to you again.
James is like, no one was gonna text you. You're a loser. And I was like,
no, I like always like, no one likes you. Don't you see that?
No one likes you. Do you get it? And so Schwartz asks about the juxtaposition. This was weirdly worded, but someone on TikTok was like, thank God he asked this because it gave Ariana like a platform at least. So you know, Ariana was humiliated, to which she says, I wasn't humiliated, they were.
I like how she keeps saying that. I think she kind of was, but I like how she's like, no, so too. They're the low ones.
Because I mean, as Schwartz says, the nation rallied around Ariana.
She's changing the narrative.
Yeah, she shouldn't have to be humiliated.
She should be embarrassed, but it's like, no, they should be embarrassed.
They should, honestly. Yeah, so the whole nation rallied around Ariana. What was that like? And Ariana's like, actually, I'd love to answer that. And she gets a little emotional. She does the triangle. Oh my God, she folds. Do you know what the triangle is?
No.
You fold the tissue into this triangle and then you dab the inside so you don't mess up your makeup and it absorbs the tear. And Candace from Real Housewives of Potomac has literally created the triangle, and Ariana did it, and Candace tweeted about it and was like, oh my God, soul sister. And I was like, oh my God, queen behavior.
And even if you're honestly, that's a move for if you're not crying, because it's like it would soak up the tear. Of course, it wouldn't drip down my face.
Yeah, the triangle, everyone do it. So Ariana,
I don't want a moment where I have to do it. I'm gonna be honest, but
no. But if you do, the triangle's the way to go. So Ariana gets emotional. She starts tearing up. Says that's what kept her going. She said that she felt like she needed to be babysat. She had people spending the night with her. She was broken, and she can't think of two worse people.
The voice crack she has when she says that.
Horrible.
I know we've seen it a million times in the previews, but I like, if they weren't already shattered as human beings of how scum of the earth they are,
this would have done it.
The tone of her voice would have sliced me open right there.
This would have done it. So Sandoval starts crying. Rachel looks like she's still processing.
I don't think maybe she doesn't know the English language fully.
I think she's on drugs.
I think she's drugged up. pageant on, you know?
And she's lying, right? She can't make an honest connection because this isn't real.
Yeah, that's so true.
I really think that's a big part of it. So Ariana sobs and says on no level did she deserve this. Both Sandoval and Rachel say you didn't deserve it. And Ariana's like, don't say that to me because you did it. Like
every day. I think it's every day you chose to walk this path.
Yeah. And then she really lays in on them and calls them gross and an abomination and tells them to abort it because it's so fucking awful.
And I like how she's like, you are continuing it. Like you guys are still actively talking, looking at each other, strategizing. Fuck
it's awful. Yeah.
You're still walking this path. That's what's gross about it.
It's gross. So Katie says Ariana's life is just getting better by the minute. And Ariana says, yeah, and Karma's sending theirs down the gutter.
Hell yeah.
And this is where James goes. And by the way, Raquel, Allie's actually an upgrade. So never say she's a replacement again.
This is so James. I love that he needs to make this point for himself. I think it's so funny and so true to who he is.
He saw just a little opening and he's like, it's my time.
He's like, let me slice you about our own relationship. Oh, let me get in there.
So the news about the affair lit up the internet, and then there were all these rumors, and of course we knew Sandoval dressed up as Rachel for Halloween, and at the time we thought nothing of it, but obviously now
I thought it was weird at the time. I'm gonna be honest.
I thought it was just a pop culture thing of Bravo, right? Because we all saw Katie's thing and we were like, oh my god, Sandoval.
I thought it was gross of Sandoval like coming at Katie. I didn't realize like Raquel I didn't think close.
They were having an affair.
No, but I was just like, this is weird. Like, why are you
definitely I thought it was tiered towards Katie. So yes. And Ariana goes, I helped you get in do that Halloween costume. And Lisa cannot believe she is gobsmacked.
I can't believe she didn't know that he went as her as Halloween.
Well, I think maybe she's putting it together. Like, wait, you were
she doesn't realize the scale of every moment that they were
they threw it in our faces.
Yes.
Yeah. And she's like, why would you do that? And James is like, because he's a creeper. And
I love the use of creeper at Sandoval.
I do too, because he is.
It is creepy.
He could be her dad. He is that old. And Katie calls Sandoval out for like mocking her because that's what we all thought this was. We thought it was a dig towards Katie.
It was a dig towards Katie.
It was, but also he's like, ooh.
He's like, also the other side of the coin is I'm fucking her.
And then Ariana's like, remember at BravoCon at Tom's show when me and Rachel wore matching sweaters and we're in the front row and he had both his girls there. And then we talk about the lightning bolt and how my favorite is Charlie going, you're never gonna regret good jewelry, but she can never wear this again.
It's so funny because like obviously Charlie didn't know and she's like,
regret it.
How was I in the middle of such a pinnacle moment?
I know Charlie talking about that is like, I had no idea. I hate
10 out of 10.
So what a regret of $780 if you ask me. But yeah, Rachel does say that she bought it to signify who Sandoval had become in her life. And again, Lisa's like, there were cameras there. Like, why did you do that?
She's not smart. Like, girly, go look at it. And if you like it and you're on camera, be like, oh, maybe another time. And go back and buy it. You don't buy it on camera.
It was so bad. Lisa,
it would make more sense if she bought it on camera before they had slept together, but she was just like obsessed with him. I mean, still weird.
Fine.
But like, come on, have a brain. Don't put your shit on camera.
I love Lisa just like, how could you do this? And the whole correct side, the perfect side of the reunion is like, gross, villain, ew. Like they're all just shouting things at him. And then Lisa's like, it seems like, Raquel, you were in like a pageant with these women and you were competing with them. Like you were openly just trying to be like, this is what I'm doing. And James is like, she's not going to win this one either, Lisa. She doesn't win pageants.
I died when he was like, she's not going to win this one either.
Oh, it was awesome.
Such a good comment. He's so good.
He's so good. He's great TV. So then Rachel's like, I cringed so hard looking back at that. And Lisa's like, but you did it. Like, it was fucking wild.
You're not cringing. I bet she still owns in wears that often. I bet she's literally sitting in her mental health facility wearing that
staring
stupid
at
necklace.
it. No, it's hung up special. And
next to a picture of Tom.
Yeah.
She idolizes him.
As she calls him and writes him postcards with crayons.
I don't think she's actually calling him. I think she's writing postcards.
No, there was that. Did you see the picture?
I think he probably changed the phone number. Like, I think he did that.
To Raquel?
Like somebody else, like his assistant's number. Yeah.
Ooh,
I think he like wants the press on it. I think he realizes he's only going to get negative press, so he has to cause negative press because he needs the attention.
So Rachel says she feels like a piece of shit, and everyone's like, actually, you feel nothing. And Lisa cannot move on. She is so shocked.
This is the first time I think Lisa fully gets it.
I think now she's like, oh, why was I sticking up
this
for
is a big deal.
Yeah.
Because Lisa's not on TikTok, so it's not like she got the news.
True. So Lisa says neither of them had time to process this. They made a mistake and they tried to rectify it and pretend it didn't happen because they didn't want to hurt anyone.
Again, that is like month 1 of 7 months. Maybe that happened.
Horrible. And then we find out Ariana's eggs are still frozen, but not fertilized.
Thank God. I was actually very worried about that.
Oh, that's the best. So then Sandoval, has Sandoval slept with anyone else since being with Rachel? And he says no, but Lala and Ariana are like, what about this girl? What about that girl? And he's like, where do you get your information from? And then Ariana goes, you know who he does sleep with? Me. He slept with me while he was with Rachel.
I like that dig because I like want Rachel to know you're not. This wasn't a dead end relationship. Like I want it confronted to Rachel's face. They were. I was in a relationship
sleeping with him while he was sleeping with you.
With you, like you're not solo girlfriend here.
Oh, and then he says, yeah, she kept her t-shirt on. It was really hot.
The tone of his voice.
Let me see if I could do it. Yeah, she kept her t-shirt on. It was really hot. I can't even do it. It was so gross. And Andy's whole face, his body leans away from Sandoval. Like he was like, oh no.
The reactions.
Schwartz, everyone.
Head in his face.
Oh my God. Schwartz collapsing was the funniest.
He goes, dude, no.
Oh, don't say that. He fully collapses in half, covers his face as the other half of the reunion goes, you're disgusting. You're horrible. Fuck you. And Schwartz is just like, oh, I hate women.
And Lisa like made a comment and he goes, what? Like, what? He's still so defensive of anything he does.
The thing is, Schwartz hates women. And even he wouldn't fucking say that.
He has like an amount of decent respect to not make a comment like this.
He's gonna hate women but be the victim always, and he's just like, oh no, this is villain territory.
He would never. I don't think he would shame a woman about sex.
About her body.
Yeah.
Like Ariana already being so open with her body issues. Yeah. Sometimes we wear fucking t-shirts because we don't like the way our body looks after dinner. Okay. And for him to fucking say that and weaponize it against her, weaponize it towards her when she's sitting there with abs that I've never seen on a person I'm so sexually attracted to.
Same.
Fuck you.
Amy Schumer was on Watch What Happens Live on Thursday night, I think. And she's like, I always have sex with a t-shirt on. Like, and a lot of people are like, it's kind of hot. Like a girl in just a t-shirt.
Lala said that on Watch What Happens Live. She's like, there's nothing hotter than a girl in like a t-shirt, in just a t-shirt. Like that's the hottest. And she wore just a sweatshirt and like tights.
And she like opened her legs and I was like, yes, honey.
Yeah, and she was like, look at me, how hot
I like taking back the power of like, fuck you, a t-shirt's hot. Like, we're gonna do this.
How horrible. And then Lala's like, hey, Rachel, you better take a good look at him because this is your future.
This is how he talks about the woman.
You gain a little bit of weight and he's going to be all over that.
It's insane because he bounces between this like apologetic, this fake apologetic person. But it's like, you're not apologetic. Look at the comments you're actually making at the end of the day.
Horrible. Like, you know, someone's big insecurity and someone you claim to have loved for so long.
Mm-hmm. And you do this publicly. This isn't like they're in a fight in their home. I mean, that would still be horrible. Like, this is going to replay in Ariana's head probably for a long time. But I think she's taking the power back of it with her, like, t-shirt with something about her. But yeah, this would cut me to my core if somebody said this one-on-one. But to do it on a stage of all of our friends, that will be seen by the world.
Millions.
Disgusting. You clearly do not give a shit about me.
This was not even said to me, and it cut me to my core.
I will think about this probably for the rest of time.
I literally like could not look at food for 12 hours because of what this man said. Like, how horrible. I'm so upset. So let's talk about the great Rachel versus Raquel debate. Rachel got her name, or Rachel is her given name. She changed it in first grade because there were two other Rachels and she wanted to feel special.
Okay.
Ariana tells her she's not.
She also, I've heard that her neighbor across the street was a ballerina named Raquel, and that's why she found Raquel as the new name. Like she like idolized this person. So that's where it's like kind of weird.
Okay, well, whatever.
From the jump.
She wants to be Raquel. So basically her family calls her Rachel, her friends call her Raquel. And Ariana's like, so it's Rachel now because you have no friends. So
I love how she was like, the math is
she explained literally
it does the equation. And I'm
Rachel's like, I don't think so.
And Ariana's like, let me actually spell it out for you because you just don't get it. You don't even get the dig. So let me actually really tell you about it.
That was great. So did their families know about the affair? Tom's mom knew. She was surprised, not like disappointed.
Tom is embarrassing his mom.
I cannot believe that his mom was not like, you need to break up with Ariana.
Well, maybe she was, but like he's not helping his mom out.
No, my mom knew and she was just surprised.
Well, because like Tom's not going to say how he was scolded about an affair that he is defending himself. Like, I bet his mom was not happy and is like coaching him, but I bet he did not follow any of it.
Mom will never be on the show again.
He told his mom this like fake story. So his mom probably thought like, oh, like we're just in a relationship for the show. Like, you know, we're just like friends right now. So like I started something with Rachel, but like we can't be public about it. Like if I told my family that story, they'd be like, Meredith, like you need to sort your life out. But like, okay, fine. Like we'll meet him.
Yeah. It wouldn't be so bad, I guess.
I bet he lied to her.
Oh, horrible. And so they deny going to St. Louis together. But so Tom's family has only met Rachel at events in LA. And Ariana's like, yeah, we were there. And then Andy's like, Tom, what does your family think of Rachel? And Ariana goes, that she's a whore. Yeah. Yep. So, how did this go from a one-night stand to a relationship? Sandoval says emotions got the best of him and it became a relationship in January. And Schwartz says that's when Tom said he was in love, to which I'm like, so there had to be more happening before you don't just fall in love with someone.
Agreed. And like, I think Sandoval thinks we're all hung up on sex, and it's like, that's not all the end all be all. It is all your inappropriate actions leading up to it.
Yes. So where will they be from a year from now? Rachel says it's too soon to say. James says in a poop house. And Sandoval says he would love to see that. And James said, yeah, because you're used to living in shit. And then calls them both poo-poo heads.
Love.
And that whole side of the room is dying. Like they're just
like cuts the tension, and I think it really helps them.
I know Andy's annoyed, but like it helps, I think, Ariana get through
it doesn't make it all like I want to cry and be upset over this.
Yeah. So Sandoval says they need to figure out if these feelings are real or not. So it's a time to reflect. And Lisa's like, wow.
Rachel, and we kind of just said I love you on this stage, and Sandoval says we need to figure out if these feelings are real. So you don't love me. You have no idea what these are.
Yeah, it is bad. So yeah, even Rachel's like, or not Rachel, Lisa's like, oh, it must be hard for her to say or hear that. And everyone's like, no, they scripted this. She knew what he was gonna say. And Lisa's like, okay, if this was just exciting and superficial, it came at great expense to everyone else. And Rachel apologizes to Ariana. Ariana does not accept. And Rachel goes, I know my credibility is shot. And everyone's like, that, no. Yeah. So Lisa asked Schwartz what he thought. And Schwartz says he knew it was bad, but he told Sandoval like he had to break up with Ariana or else this would humiliate Ariana. And again, Ariana's like, I'm not humiliated. Stop saying it. But Ariana says she's glad that this was fucking nuclear because that's what they deserve.
Yes. The thing that they were planning, it's like you can see them trying to still weave some of their plan together in this reunion with the lies, but their plan is so disgusting of trying to like say this wasn't a thing and basically gaslight the audience, Ariana, all their friends into saying like what happened over the 7 months if we never found out about it never happened.
Yeah.
How disgusting.
Horrible.
That's the diabolical part.
It's awful. So then Andy asks if it's possible to mend fences with this group. Rachel says not right now. And Ariana says it's a forever no, actually. Yeah. And Katie says it's not really up to her. So Rachel apologizes again to the people she's hurt. We cut to Sheena's trailer and Brock is like, why don't you name us? Like name the people.
That's a move I think Rachel really could have won, is being like, Ariana, I'm really sorry for doing any part of this. Like sleeping with your boyfriend, lying to you for months. Katie, I'm really sorry for kissing Schwartz when you asked Sheena, James. I'm sorry that I
restraining order.
Like call them out and like literally she should have wrote a list.
Well, she says she should have wrote Sheena a note.
Also, she could not give Sheena a note. There's a no contact order with restraining orders that operates on both sides.
I feel like Andy had to hand some fake documents.
You're not that was between like lawyers technically, so that one's fine. But like Rachel could not give Sheena a letter. Like the person who files the restraining order has to also follow it.
Yeah, you would think. So then Rachel says that she hates that she proved Lala right, and Lala's living for it. She says the person she loves dearly is away from a toxic human. And Sandoval says Lala doesn't love Ariana dearly. And Lala says, yeah, I do, so much that I ate her cookie in the back of your car and I would do it again.
Sandoval, you don't get to decide if people are like close friends.
Shut up. Just shut up.
You're not like judge and jury on everything.
Yeah. So Rachel says she's treating this as a learning process and wants to be a better friend for the people in her life. And she sees how her actions affect other people, which is definitely something you should have learned in 5th grade, which I'm sure like this is a product of her environment.
Yes, this isn't the time to learn this. And if you are, you don't say it.
You are 28 years old. Like you missed the whole chapter.
How old she is. It's embarrassing. I literally keep thinking she's 21.
Literally 5-year-olds realize consequences.
Allie is more mature than you.
Yeah. James is somehow more mature than you. Let that sink in. Let that sink into you.
That's so true.
So we take a break. Ariana tells Tom to go give Rachel those little rat kisses. Tom and Rachel talk. They hug. He tells her she did a really good job. Gross. Rachel says that was brutal. Rachel then says it's hard to admit to everything they've done and how they've hurt people. She's seeing the person she's become and she doesn't want to be the person that hurts other people. She like kind of starts to tear up, but it goes nowhere. And then Sandoval.
But this is the moment Sandoval needed to be like, I'm sorry I put you in this position.
Yeah. Instead he responds with, yeah, that sucks.
So bad. I hope her family's watching this, like noting down.
Yeah, do not date this man.
If someone loved you, where they would actually respond differently.
Do not date this man. So Sandoval says it's hard for these people to think they're like the two of them are evil and liars. Mm-hmm. And like, how did they not lie about this? How could they not?
They act like they were put against a wall with a gun to their head, being like, the mafia is being like, if you tell the truth about this affair, we're going to kill your family. And it's like,
literally have to lie.
You did have a choice. You did.
Do you know what would have happened if we told the truth? Exactly this.
I just probably on a lesser scale. Every day it was a choice to continue this lie in this affair.
Like they need to realize that if they had just been open about it, right? This exact thing would have still happened, but just on a lesser scale.
And off camera, like that was that is what should have happened.
Like this is exactly what probably would have kind of happened. It would just been easier for you.
I think they would have more credibility if it wasn't a 7-month affair and if it was a one-night stand. They could use the excuse that it was an accident.
I agree, but that's not what they did.
No.
So then they giggle about how everyone else is making comments, especially like Allie being the upgrade. What a dumb fucking comment, right?
I was so grossed out by their laughing. Like you're being filmed. You're being filmed and you're openly making this a joke.
Like truly, I was shocked.
And the only thing Rachel like hones in on is the James comment about Allie being an upgrade. How disgusting.
I was so shocked. And then they're like, haha, they all have a common enemy. So like then they all become friends, but we'll see how long that lasts. But they really hate us, so it might last a while. This was wild that you're laughing after this.
What?
Like you don't feel bad. Anything you just said, like if they had taken this time to be like, I really feel bad, like that was really brutal. I need to go to a mental health facility.
Like cameras are on you. Fake it even. Like you can do this in your like the privacy of your own home after. I mean, I don't love it, but like, come on.
I need to know their thought process. Like, were they like, if we laugh, we'll become.
If this is what they are doing on camera, what are they saying off camera?
Like, we would think like that, but are they like, we're gonna show like we're in love by giggling with each other? Like, what was the thought process?
I don't think there is any. I think Sandoval's plan went out the window and he is flying by the seat of his whatever. And like, I don't know.
Okay, well, Rachel has got to go because Sheena's got to come back.
I love this like do-si-do of like getting people.
I love it.
They're like, we really need you out, Raquel. Like,
yeah, Sheena's on her way. She's actually 99 yards away. So if you can get in the fucking car. Yeah, so Lala asks Ariana, like, while they're waiting, like, if Sandoval had come and said he has feelings for Rachel earlier, what would have happened?
I love this question.
Ariana says she would have given Sandoval two options. Either we're done or you never see her again. And she said eventually she wouldn't be this mad if that had happened.
I agree.
But, like, friends is a line you don't
That
cross.
is the perfect thing that he should have done. He should have been honest about his feelings. And if he loves Ariana, he would have been okay losing Rachel.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't love Ariana, he would have pursued Rachel. And that is the way you go about it. And I think at the end of the day, if that had happened, Ariana and Sandoval could have at least been in the same room eventually.
I agree.
Like it wouldn't have nuclear exploded this friend group.
Agreed. So, James, as they're all sitting there, is like, oh my God, can Sandoval fucking hurry up? And Andy's like, Lisa's not here either. And James goes, oh, I'll just shut the hell up then. So this is when Lisa kind of coaches Sandoval.
I'm grossed out by this.
Hey, you need to start looking apologetic and like start apologizing. And eventually maybe they'll want to be your friend. Not right now, but you really need to like show your emotions a little bit more. And Sandoval then starts sobbing and says he just wants to have a conversation with Ariana, to which I'm like, he did it on camera. Well, that was his chance.
No, he wants it off camera so he can fucking rail into her.
No, fuck, she's not gonna do that. She called producers to be like, this is on camera, bitch. Yeah. So then as he's leaving, he says he's not a serial killer. Okay,
dude,
the bar is low. The bar is
and
low.
And you don't have the strategy to be a serial killer. Don't put serial killers below you. Come on.
Honestly,
I have more respect for serial killers than you.
Truly. So, Sheena is back. Missed you, baby. Sheena watched it all in her trailer. She calls Ariana a fucking queen. And then she was like screaming at her trailer. So, Andy's back. We're back in the reunion. Final thoughts. Sheena thought that Rachel was literally like a serial killer, no tears, and even Sheena was fucking crying. And Lala's like, yeah, but she cried over pageants twice.
It's so true.
I think it's really because this was a lie. She was playing a character.
I think it's all of it. You can see that like Rachel's not really shown up as like a human being.
No. So will Sheena and Brock have a second baby? Not anytime soon. James is probably going to play Imagine Festival again and we keep it going. Schwartz will never get married again. He will fall in love many times, but no marriage.
I feel like that's cutely optimistic, which I kind of love for him.
Also, during this point, I got really like just choked up a little because Katie was really like looking at Schwartz with like you can tell there's still like a lot of love there. Yeah. And they're both heartbroken that like it couldn't work out. Yeah. So Katie says that she might get married. She won't have another wedding. She really doesn't have a desire.
She says she's had the one's enough, and I wanted to be like, you had two, babe. On the show, you had two.
You had two whole weddings. She has no desire to be a mom. It was about creating a family with someone she loves. But she can be like the cool rich aunt in a different country with the hot new boy every month. Sandoval, how do we move forward in this group? He immediately starts crying, says he understands he fucked up, but
I think these were real
human.
tears. I'm gonna be honest.
He's a human. He makes mistakes.
No.
That's the thing, is like, we don't feel anything towards you. Don't try and just be like, I fucked up and cry about it.
But like, humans make mistakes. This was an everyday mistake. This wasn't just
own it. But own it. But he says he will always love Ariana and will always be cheering her on from afar. Ariana says that she's thankful for Katie, James, Lala, Sheena, Lisa, and Andy. She will not forgive Sandoval and she will not be cheering him on from afar.
Love.
And Lisa says this is the craziest of 10 whole seasons. She hopes that we can find forgiveness and compassion. And Andy's like, great, end of reunion. Let's take a picture. And then James walks off singing, these are the best
iconic. I fucking love him. But I wish he would have gone, Sandoval's a liar.
Oh, I don't think that was born yet.
Yeah, I think that came post reunion.
It was so good. Filming. So everyone leaves. Ariana drives off into the sunset. And then, of course, we get the last 5 minutes of Rachel's interview.
Which, really quick, the producers have come out and said that they asked her to sit down for an interview because she didn't for the finale, the new finale episode. Oh. So they already had this scheduled. It wasn't her being like, I want to talk. They were getting her sound bites for the finale.
Which we saw.
Yeah. Which we saw some. And that's why it's the same, like, dress footage, everything.
Ugly dress.
Horrible. But she decided randomly during the interview to start discussing this stuff.
I like how the producer really pushed her and was like, we're not
throughout it was like, I can see it on your face. Like, just say the truth. It's already out there.
Yeah. So Rachel's in a lot of pain because it's important to her to tell the truth. It's all out there anyways, like, but she's still having to lie about specific timeline things. So Sandoval feels like it would be less hurtful to say that it wasn't going on for so long, but it was a regular thing while they were filming. The second time they hooked up was in Mexico.
Which tracks because of the rooming situation. Like, Sheena's friend, or that one girl, Rachel told that one girl she was supposed to room with that, like, the lie that producers wouldn't let her have someone in her room.
Yeah.
So I think she intentionally went in thinking, hey, if it happens, great. I'm going to, like, set it up for success.
Yeah. But she blames it on, like, he was so drunk one night, so she put him in her room and then they hooked up.
I don't think they went in with intentions to sleep together in Mexico, but I think she opened the door, like, on her side by making sure her room was clear. And when they saw the opportunity, they took it.
I think they got to Mexico and were flirty, and that's when she was like, hey girl, you can't sleep in my room. Sorry, producers said, and now I get my own room.
Sorry.
Like, I think there was probably a moment she was like, ooh, it might happen. Like, while they're in Mexico, she's like, ooh, it might happen in Mexico. I have to prepare. Like, I think she went into it like, no. But once they landed, something happened.
Yeah.
So they had sex multiple times in Mexico.
She says that first time he was drunk, and I'm like, that's embarrassing. Don't admit that. Like, you're saying he was so hammered he couldn't find his room, and you banged him. Yeah. Like, that's not a good look. It gives a little rapey vibes. Not to, like, give Sandoval, like, an excuse, but
no, she's like smiling the whole time. She's like, haha. So Rachel doesn't remember how often they would hook up, but it definitely picked up speed after filming.
Which, like, makes sense.
She has met his mom, and his mom was aware of the situation when and that was in LA. So, like, I'm sure the mom saw Ariana and had to, like,
lie. You're forcing your mom to lie to your
mom looks horrible. It's not looking good. So then Rachel, though, denies going to St. Louis, even though we see the picture of them in St. Louis. And then
also, that's my dad's birthday, December 29th.
We'll forever live.
Everyone, so many people I know, because I'm from St. Louis, posted that statue is right outside our art museum, like in the massive park in St. Louis. And so many people posted photos of that them in front of that statue going, the site of the Sandoval, like, you know, announcement,
in St. Louis.
So funny the day after this reunion.
Yeah, she's literally like, I can't recall if we went to St. Louis.
You're not on the stand. Just fucking be honest.
The producer's like, well, I could see it on your face. And she's like, okay, we went to St. Louis. And then Rachel says she feels guilty. She wanted to tell Ariana. She actually oh my God, this was the part I threw up at. She suggested being a third in their relationship.
That to me was a bombshell.
That was I was like, ew, because he shut that down. But Rachel was like, I love Ariana as a person, and I'm in love with Tom Sandoval, so that would have been
It
fucking
shows
great.
you how much she just wanted the validation of a man. She was willing to settle for a throuple, to
That
join this
was so
existing
horrible.
relationship just to have a piece of Sandoval. And it
I
also tells me,
screamed.
like, in her eyes, at least at the beginning, she knew that they were at least a decently solid couple, like, to join.
Yeah. It's so gross. It's so weird. And then this is when she's like, oh, he's gonna kill me, but I hate lying. And then we talk about the jacuzzi. She denies hooking up that night and says that he asked her not to disclose all that information.
It's the one thing, the one story we agreed on.
Yeah,
Girlie,
yeah,
when
yeah.
you say that, we already know you're lying.
That's the thing, is she's like, I can't talk about this because he has asked me not to talk about this information because we got our story straight. And I'm like, so you hooked up
I'm
that
like,
night.
if you're gonna say a comment like that, you might as well just say the truth.
Yeah, and she says, especially now being isolated, Tom is the only person she has, and if she betrays him, she has nobody. And the producer is like, look, you already came clean about the timeline, like what's one more thing to add? And then this is where she says it's the one, she's crying, this is the one story they agreed on getting straight, because it looks really bad to hook up with someone's boyfriend in their own house when they're gone out of town for a funeral.
Two things here. One, her saying that, like,
Oh.
isolated comment, like, this makes me really concerned for her and sad.
Her
like
mental health.
Like, she feels like she has to do whatever Sandoval says. It's like she's hostage, emotionally hostage.
That's what abusers do. They isolate you from fucking everyone else.
Which
so
I don't think he, like, purposely isolated her, but like he has gotten her into this situation.
No, but she's in I'm not gonna say he's abusive, but it could become an abusive situation.
It is a power. She is now in a power play with him. Like, whether he did that on purpose or not, that is the reality of the situation. He has power over her having no one.
Yes, and
I think he knows that and is using it.
And we talked about this. I don't think the shock is really any of this information. I think the shock is she betrayed Sandoval. Yeah. Because there's no way he's fucking happy about this.
No, but clearly she probably went home and told
like a liar. He is a liar.
Which we knew, but it's just like her openly saying that on camera.
In the end, I think Sandoval's the most horrid, awful person in the entire world. I truly think Rachel needs to get mentally evaluated. I believe she's in a facility. Yeah, I'm truly fucking concerned for her. Like this, I don't think she should come back to the show. I don't think she should go to reality TV. I think she should move somewhere and start anew.
Move back to Tucson, live with your family.
Needs her family support.
Be a person. Don't be a reality star.
Yeah, like figure this shit out.
A lot of people online are saying, like, why didn't Sandoval go to this fucking funeral? Horrible. Why was he at home?
Horrible. Why would you not go to your girlfriend's grandmother's funeral to hook up with your mistress? That's why.
Yeah, he saw the opportunity. That's why it's diabolical.
Yes. They knowingly did this. Like, it was a constant fucking thing.
He was like strategizing on how to make this happen.
How to get Ariana out of the picture. Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Yes, he was strategic. He was diabolical, and she was like a pawn in his.
She was diabolical with conversations.
I really do think she might not still be, but at this point, she is in love with him. Yeah. And I think
I think she thinks she's in love with him.
I think she's in love with the idea of being with him. Yeah. And I think he is in love with having someone who will only hype him up. Yeah. And I sent you something where like not a therapist, but like someone who has a PhD in this amazing shit, was basically like when Ariana would say something like, oh, Sandoval, I don't think those pants are sick, he would hear an attack on himself. Like, he is so deeply narcissistic. Like, that's all he sees and hears is like only things that have to do with himself. Whereas Rachel would never say that. So he likes that. And this person also said, like, Sandoval is so in his like narcissism that he doesn't see that he even hurt Ariana because he is like, so it's his world.
He sees the public outrage of hurting Ariana, but not the actual actions. Like
he can't comprehend that he did this.
Yeah, like, the show Normal People
syndrome
does a really good job of showing. It's a show that like about like kind of misconnections, and they show one scene where you see it from his perspective and her perspective separately. Like it's I think 2 different episodes. And the words used, the tone is all different in both of the scenes. Like they're very different, but the script is the same. Like the way and how it happens is so different. I think like what you're saying about Sandoval is so true. Like Ariana says like, oh, I don't like the green. And he probably hears, you look horrid.
Yeah, he hears, I don't like that green
on you.
Like it's something,
it's about him, not like, oh, that's just not the outfit for you.
You don't look good in green or something like, it's very different. So I truly think he is just a horrible he needs to honestly go to a mental health facility as well. I think do you think narcissists are born, right? Or do you grow into a narcissist?
I think they're slowly groomed. I think all like mental things are like over time. I think it's a little nature versus nurture of everything. Like, I think you can be predisposed, but I think it has. I'm no scientist over, like I don't know actually any of these facts, but I think my opinion is, I'm sure there's some things you're born with, but I think you kind of have to also be groomed. It has to be a perfect storm.
Yeah, he's definitely needs to like relearn. It might be too late, but this
because like people in the US have way more issues with mental health than people all over the world. And
that's true.
Of, like our society.
That's true.
So I think it's a lot of like the nurture.
He needs to go get like.
I think everyone needs help, but I think he needs like inpatient.
Yeah. So overall, what the great season.
Wow,
amazing. Do we think Rachel will be back?
I don't want her to, and like for her, like after seeing her clip in like this episode and like sitting with it, like I am really sad for her.
Do we think Sandoval will be back?
Hell yeah, he can't not. I just don't know if Schwartz is now on this tour of like he's not talking to Sandoval, so I don't know how Sandoval can be involved in this show. That's honestly why I think they're taking a pause, is they have no idea how to film this.
No.
I think they were lying to us about like I think there was like, oh yeah, here's this little tidbit at the end, but I think that producers were saying like, no. We're using that as the excuse of why they're not filming, when in reality they have no fucking clue what to do with this cast right now.
Agreed. Well, we'll see. We have podcasts by the people. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, Lauren says Sandoval is the actual fucking worst. He took zero accountability for what he did, full of I'm sorry but energy. Watching the episode live, I didn't believe his tears. All of his crying since the news broke has looked fake. But then seeing on the pumped up version that LVP went to him first to suggest he show some kind of remorse made it look even worse. I don't know when he stopped caring about Ariana, but that t-shirt comment is not something you say publicly or about someone you actually care for. It was pretty damn obvious that he was lying throughout the reunion and on the final episode. So I don't think the reveal was that dramatic, but it did bring home that nobody can believe a word coming out of his mouth, and he does not care about anyone but himself.
Yep.
Lauren also says Rachel is a more complex situation. She is still responsible for her actions, and she never actually expressed remorse for what she did, just remorse for lying about it.
Yeah.
That's true. Good point. She seemed very scripted at the reunion, clearly ready to say the talking points Sandoval had given her. It made me feel sympathy for her, but also seems as if she had some of her own issues to deal with. She's so used to being whoever the people around her want her to be. And men like Sandoval are too willing to take advantage of that. During the reveal, it was a positive that she came clean, but didn't show any remorse for what she and Sandoval did. Again, just feeling bad for lying. I hope she stays far away from LA for her own good.
That perfectly sums it up.
Okay, then Lauren says, Ariana was fully justified in saying what she said. She was hurt and angry, and she already had a chance to say some of that to Sandoval, but the reunion was the first time she was seeing Raquel. Ariana was allowed to express how their actions made her feel. I think it was important for Raquel to experience those consequences. Ariana has also been far more measured during her TV podcast appearances that occurred after the reunion filmed, showing that she has the maturity to deal with those emotions and move past it. I have no problem with how she acted at the time, though.
Me neither. I actually
I
really
don't
love the like kind of, I'm gonna call it mean girl energy of just
Yeah.
like cutting Raquel to her core.
I do too. I think Raquel deserves that. But yeah, Lauren says crazy season. Appreciate all the time and energy you ladies put into this. I can't wait for the rest of the rewatch seasons and listening to the after shows. It's definitely about the pasta. Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you.
Okay, really quick. Jackie and Dustin were in Philly, so they also got a lot of the smoke. So I'm hoping they're keeping safe.
Yes. Shout out to all the East Coasters.
So Jackie says the surprise at the end was meh at best. I think Rachel just wanted to put some heat back on Tom, which he deserves. Don't get me wrong. Now I'm wondering the timing of when she filmed this and when they broke up. Quote unquote broke up. Did she tell Tom this and he got upset? They are both ugly people and making ugly choices in life, and the universe sees all. They will get stung back one day. Yeah, there was a lot of controversy that one of the pictures when Raquel was leaving Sandoval's house was like the day after she filmed this like weird interview, and like he might have kicked her out. I do not know if they're, when she left with the bag that then gave Ariana a brand deal, that was like the day after she filmed this.
So I kind of like that. I want him to like be harsh on her because I think that's the only way she'll cut him off is actually if he cuts her off. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but so she's still writing letters, we know, to the house.
Yeah, but I'll give her a pass on some letters because if she's in her mental health facility and it's like she needs closure and to like express her emotions about how he put her into this situation, it's the postcard that's fucking weird.
It's fucking weird. But like,
that's why I don't think she has a phone. I think the phone thing is all a lie.
Oh, well, do we think that they're still together?
No, not in like actuality.
Okay.
I think they could like pick things up, but I think her family probably told her to take a beat and like try to do no contact with him while she's in the mental health facility.
Do we think he got mad and broke up with her that next day when he found out that she told?
I'm sure he railed on her, but I'm sure he can like reel her back in.
Okay, then Casey says, Raquel's interview at the end was not that surprising in my opinion. I thought it was weird that Sandoval kept harping on the fact that it was one time, and that seemed fishy. It was like that was the story and they were sticking to it no matter what he kept saying. It was one time. The icky part is she was keeping up the whole Schwartz thing while she was sleeping with Sandoval during filming. And of course she slept with him at their house while Ariana was out of town. For her to say, I just couldn't stop myself, but for them to say absolutely did not sleep together at the house, lies.
Oh, I never came back around to that. How gross is it? Her literally sleeping with Sandoval in Mexico a few times and then going and kissing Schwartz. The like in between sandwiching them, weird as fuck.
I still think it's so gross that Sandoval was like, do it. Oh,
I would have to go to therapy just for that alone.
I'll have to go to therapy after watching it.
Yeah, like, I actually really need. Why spend my hour at therapy on this is what I keep thinking.
Be like, nothing's actually happening to me, but
it's making my avoidant relationship nature way worse.
Actually,
I'm gonna be honest.
One of my friends actually told me last weekend I'm very avoidant, and I was like, if you saw what I saw, you would get it.
It's making it worse because I'm like, you can't trust anyone.
No, absolutely not.
Sorry.
So sorry. No wonder Schwartz took a Xanax because he probably was freaking out not to blow their cover. The whole reunion feels false because they were completely lying about everything. The t-shirt comment was the absolute worst. It showed his true colors and he's completely awful. And the fact that him and Rachel were laughing about things when she was changing, so icky. Sandoval is a complete skis.
I don't want Sandoval to completely go into next season, but I want this stuff that like we know now addressed. Yeah. Like I want Schwartz to sit down with Sandoval and be like, fuck you.
Yeah. What have you done to me? Casey also says, and the fact that Rachel thought a throuple would be a solution, clearly so delusional. I'm from the South and all I can think to say is bless her heart. Ooh, Casey, that even is too much, I think. Ooh.
Yeah, that's too nice of a diss.
So Tracy says Lisa almost doesn't even know what's going on. The lightning bolt necklace seemed like brand new information to her or something. I feel like she's more on Sandoval's side because she doesn't know what the fuck's going on, or at least
Agreed.
I'd like to hope. Yeah, she seemed gobsmacked about Halloween. Like
Well,
that
okay,
was
it's 3 weeks, and then like again, she's not on TikTok or like I don't think she's researching this shit. So
I
she's light
also
years
don't
behind.
know if she like fully watches these episodes.
No, I don't think she really cares.
Okay, by far the most despicable thing Tom has done during the reunion is the fucking t-shirt comment. Everyone was dead silent. Was good, or everyone was dead silent. It was a good reason to be disgusting. This episode was also a good reminder on how dumb Rachel is. Taking Lala's comment about being a mistress as a confession and not as Lala quoting trolls online is insane. Rachel definitely had a script and would just change the conversation in order to say the things on her script. There were times where her comments didn't even make sense in the conversation slash question it was asked.
Yeah.
Tracy says she's still a terrible person, but her confessing her timeline made her just a little bit better and made me hate Tom more. That being said, I think there's still something off about that timeline.
I agree. I don't think she was fully honest.
A
I think
lot
she
of a lot
I think
of
she's
people.
very impressionable. So I think honestly, whoever she's with is what she goes with. So I think producers were able to, get her to tell some stuff, but she's unwilling to tell everything.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that she definitely probably hooked up with Tom Sandoval while she was with James.
I don't think that. I really don't. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think
Yeah.
they'd be able to keep
You don't
that
think the
secret.
hair change and like then the breakup of the engagement and Sandoval not being that shocked?
No. I don't think yeah, no, I don't believe that
I
story.
love a conspiracy theory.
I
And this
think
is
the
what
idea of why
I'll
she changed the hair and things like that are like could be right. Like she saw
like
this
to
type of
get
stuff
Sandoval.
and yeah, it was like started kind of copying Ariana and like morphed this energy off of them. Could believe yeah.
You think maybe she like had a crush on Sandoval and was like, I'm just gonna become Ariana's doppelganger?
That or like really liked how much attention like Ariana got, or like she liked the idea of what they had going,
Of
so
being
started to
Ariana.
model it. Yeah. How
Okay.
creepy. The more I say it out loud,
I know
the
it's
more
all
I
bad.
hate
It's
it.
all bad. So Sarah says, not sure if this comment will make it and not sure if I have anything to add to what everyone else said. Tom making the t-shirt comment proved to me he does not give a shit about apologizing
Mm-mm.
genuinely. He cried tears at the end. I call bullshit. Remember that season when he was talking to Kristen and sobbing about how sorry he was that they didn't work out, which was also weird to me when I watched it.
The fake one,
Remember, it was fake
yeah,
because
in
she stood up
Miami.
and and Sandoval was like, done. And remember,
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, how fake of him. He did it. But at
Oh my
the time, I was
God.
like, good, because I thought Kristen was going to hit Ariana with a Mack truck. Um, that's what the sobbing at the end reminded me of, jerk face. Also, the bombshell, I gasped, but I do wish it had been a little more salacious. Me too,
Yeah, they
Sarah.
hyped it up way too much.
Okay, Tyranny, we're almost done. Tyranny said, Sandoval's a liar. Sandoval's a liar. I've been singing it for weeks now, and was literally the first thing that came to mind at this reunion. Dude, whenever that song comes on, I immediately start singing
Me
Sandoval
too.
instead.
Me too.
Sandoval's a liar.
I see it all
So
the time on TikTok and I love
no.
it.
So Tierney says part 3 was mainly a recap of the first two, just to get Rachel's answers. So I'm not going to give many thoughts on that, especially since there were lies. Anyway, the last 5 minutes, here are my thoughts. Rachel was basically a cult follower and Sandoval groomed her. Couldn't think of a better word for it than that, but just to get my point across. To believe that she had no one but him, similar to what he did with Ariana by saying, don't trust any of these people, they don't care about you, etc. I'm sure what Rachel said isn't even the half of it. Tyranny says, overall thoughts on 3 parts. For only finding this out like 3 weeks before, Ariana was more composed than I think I could have been. She was raw, but she radiated power and strength through the whole thing. I get that this is Lisa's show, but she's fucking clueless about these people's lives. And after these reunions, that was abundantly clear. One thing that they didn't cover that I wish they would have addressed. Why didn't they bring up the big fight in the original finale? They barely mentioned that episode. I need answers and explanations. Katie and Terry deserve that. Oh my God, you're right.
I bet they did, but I bet it got put on the cutting room floor. Yeah.
On the floor. Okay, so Tierney says, have a great week, everyone, and bring on the secrets revealed. Maybe we'll get more answers.
Yeah, I'm like,
I hope
unwell.
so.
And that is a Patreon only. We always keep it Patreon. So come join $1 a month for June to get that once we put it up.
Yes. And then Tonette says, Sandoval gives me small dick energy. And then I think this is
he has to be good at sex to like have people string along.
Rachel said it was the best sex of her life.
All right, she doesn't know anything. But I'm just saying,
James. I mean, Lala said sex with James is fun on Watch What Happens.
I bet it would be.
So Rachel probably
he's a personality.
Okay, and this is the best comment I think we can end on from Dustin. Fuck Sandoval.
Amen.
That was amazing, you guys. I'm so sad this is over. Honestly. Like happy.
We all need to take, some time to just remove this from our systems. I feel like I have so much hatred in my heart.
I have no personality now. It's gone. But they're gonna be filming again in a month or so, so it'll be back.
That's why Patreon's key, because we're gonna go back and do old seasons of different things, but we will talk about what's going on.
We will talk about if we see, as we've said, we don't know how they're gonna film with Sandoval. So if we see how it gets filmed, we're gonna start talking about it on the $2 tier on our after shows. We are going to cover that. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
So definitely
stick with us.
It. Thank you again to everyone who stuck with us through this whole season, listening on Patreon, leaving reviews. Honestly, we appreciate it. This was crazy. Our emotions ran high. Justice for women, truly. And honestly, I think Schwartz might come back with a redemption season. We'll see.
I want it.
Keep listening to the podcast. They're all doing them. And we will see you soon.
Thanks for joining. Bye.